Christy McKenzie from Flip City Magazine, and this is my first Creative Chaos stream. And I have with me today, actually, I'm going to do a little housekeeping first to let you know what my plans are. So, Flip City does not stream very often. It took me forever and a day to get this on board, and thank goodness that I have my friend Gary here to help me out through all the technical issues. But the purpose of the Creative Chaos stream is, if anybody is following Flip City, you know we are independent publishers of the world's most hilarious, most savage satire available to man in this day and age where everything is censored and kind of crappy because of it. So we are on a mission to make America laugh again by being absolutely savage and taking no prisoners. So I've taken one prisoner today, and his name is Gary Cassell. We are highlighting his work on Vindicated Inc., a new graphic novel that is funding right now on Fund My Comic. Hi, Gary.
Hey, hi. What's up? I'm just drinking.
Oh, lucky.
Guinness.
I need one of those.
I needed it too. So, I like that you said that the show is chaos tonight. So that's funny to me.
Yes, absolutely. And it was kind of my thought process when naming the show. I'm like, I don't know how to live stream very well. Let's call it chaos. But beyond that, we are huge supporters of all the independent people doing awesome stuff out there, and particularly the crowdfunders. And we're looking to make as many friends as possible in the independent publishing space. And I'm so happy that we finally get to have a chat, even though it's live and everybody gets to watch us.
Yeah, and I guess I'm officially popping the cherry with you on this.
You certainly are. That got a little sexual too fast. Gary, I'm married.
I'm involved with another ginger, so she's asleep right now because she's over in Austria. And she's love of my life. She's the girl.
What kind of time difference is that?
7 hours.
7 hours time difference. So when it's morning for her, it's kind of late at night for you. So perfect for sexting.
She stayed up until 2 a.m. today to have date night. For her, it was 2 a.m. For me, it was like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. And we watched, we like to watch really good quality movies and TV shows together. She has the same love for entertainment that I do.
Right.
And then she's on my stream all the time. She does Military Monday with me. And she does, often will do Saturday with me too. And we're going to be doing Fish Called Wanda this Saturday. And it's just one of my favorite romantic comedies ever written.
That is a classic romantic comedy that I'm not sure if I've ever seen or not. I might have way back in the day, but I have a problem with not remembering movies that I have and have not seen. It really, I think it's a mental disability. But I can watch really great movies over and over again, and I'm like, wow, that was awesome. I love it.
So you've got your chat going on YouTube, and right now, and you should be seeing it over to your right where it says comments on the window. Look over to your right, you'll see private chat and comments. And comments, this is one of the other things I love about StreamYard, is they make life a lot easier for your comments, so you can interact.
They make it so easy. Oh my goodness! I'm going to show everybody's comments. Let me see. Look at Chris said hi to me. Hi, Chris. I was always wondering how all you streamers did that stuff, and I'm also going to say hello to. Wait, hold on. Do you have to stop showing a comment? There we go. Hi, Dragon Roos. I'm assuming these are all Gary's friends.
Oh, that's a friend of mine right there. Shinatsky works with me on the graphic novel stuff. And of course, Chris H, I guess, is somebody through you. But I've invited all my friends that watch our shows, and I am very much about talking to my chat. It's the reason why I like doing my show is because I interact with I call them friends because they are. I'm very friendly with my chat, even the ones that get mad at me. And I've got a friend right now who stormed off angry the other day, said, I don't know why I bother with this shit. He was getting irritated because I was shitting on something that he really loved. And I said, look, man, it's not a shot at you. It's a shot at the thing that you love. And I get it that you love it, but you got to realize that just because you love something doesn't mean it's good.
Right. Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is, I'm nervous to start streaming, but now that I'm just barely getting my toes wet.
I got to tell you why you like
StreamYard.
StreamYard gives you a lot more freedom.
It seems like it's really user friendly.
It is, and you can actually, I don't know if it's still available. We got the $10 a month deal, and but I don't know if it's still available. They may have ended that, but it's $25 a month for the base one. And it's worth it in my opinion. We've been using it for years. Oh, hey, my buddy Admiral Teague is on. He was a co-host today on the Thursday show on our channel. And of course, my buddy. Now Comic Relief Crusader. He's a good friend of mine too. That's Mike. He does our Saturday morning intros.
That's fantastic. It looks like we're running in the same nerd circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've started taking Flip City on the road over to the Comic Relief Crusaders channel to do live reads, and Admiral Teague does a really great geriatric Captain Picard, but we call him Captain Retard.
Retard.
Oh yeah, he's a terrible, terrible person. He's very racist.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't want to forget though, while I'm here, I wanted to give a big shout out to my buddy Mike Barron. I am so moved by the fact that Mike Barron and Chuck Dixon, two guys I really look up to, are friends of mine, and that they got to read some of this book and the work that's been done. 90 pages are done. They got to read 90 pages of the book, and they are singing my praises on Vindicated Inc. And Mike loved it so much that he's doing the introduction to the book. He's going to write the intro, and which is such a massive thing because I read both those guys with what they worked on with The Punisher and Batman. They were two of my favorite writers for DC and Marvel.
Okay.
And that Mike Barron is doing this. And Mike has such amazing stuff that he's doing right now. Like he's doing the second Florida Man book right now. And I wanted to give a big shout out to Mike Barron because I love the guy. Just an amazing dude. I say that shit and he'll go, pshaw.
I love the word pshaw.
He uses it. He'll do that one, P-F-F-F-F-T.
Oh, you silly goose.
So he's a great guy.
Yeah, and this is so you did start talking about your book. I'm sure anybody that's in here does know the book. I'm hoping that some of the Flip City subscribers have come over to take a look at what Gary's doing with Vindicated Inc. I'm really excited to talk to you about your project. And I don't know if this is a good time to watch your trailer.
Yeah, go for it. Well, I'll give you a different trailer than what's on there.
Okay.
Let
I'm
me
just going to drop that in our chat.
Yeah, I'll do it in the private chat. You see it up there? It says private chat right next to the comments. And that will, I'm able to share shit with you in there. So I'll go to videos and I will copy a link, and I'm pasting it in there for you to share this video. There you go.
Yes, I also want to shout out our mutual friends, Admiral Teague and Comic Relief Crusader. Chris H., I'm sorry, I don't know exactly who you are, but you said hello to me, so maybe you just saw my name on the screen.
Oh, I thought he was somebody you knew. He might be
It could
somebody I
be.
know. He could be
Well,
somebody I know.
the other thing too is because we don't stream very often, I don't get to connect with our reading audience. 2023 has really made me realize like I really do need to get out there on social media more and live stream and stuff because I do want to build the community. And just like you said, that you consider a lot of people that are watching your stuff to be your friends. And I know that I would feel the same way.
I absolutely do consider them friends because I talk to them not just on during the shows. I'll talk to them, after shows and in the chat. And I created groups where they can continue communicating with me. And I go in there and they think I don't interact much. I actually go in there and read everything they post. And I don't always feel like I should be commenting. It's really them just sort of bantering with each other. And I get to be a voyeur and read what they're saying.
Right.
And but I also have very private conversations with a lot of our viewers. Bush McFadden, I wouldn't know him if he wasn't watching the show. And Bush is somebody, Monkey Jeebus. Monkey wants to contribute to this campaign. He feels like shit because he can't, because he just got screwed over for $52,000.
What happened?
He was working with somebody and having a professional personal relationship with this person, and they scammed him.
Oh
They
man.
bilked him out of the money. And I told him, I said, don't worry about it, man. But if you can share it out there with your friends and tout the book, I appreciate it. Because I understand, because I got screwed over for about 30,000 once. Two people, it took two people, but they in tandem, like one worked me on one project and the other one was my girlfriend. And between the two of them, I lost over $30,000 in 2 months. And I was like, wow, that's what this feels like.
Right. Holy moly. We had a similar thing happen, not anything where we were contracting out, but that we got hired, not hired, we crowdfunded a documentary project, and our crew ended up mutinying on us and kind of wrecking the entire thing. So
I tell you, man, it happens. It really does happen. You get some scummy freaking people out there. And with me, it took years for me to recover from it because there's a 10-year hiatus on this book. I started it in 2012 and I was really moving forward with it. Everything was going really well. But then I got scammed out of that $32,000. And that knocked me down a bit. And then I ended up having to take jobs because of that, that I didn't want to work with. I really didn't, because I'm raising a little girl by myself. And my daughter Zoe, I raised her all by myself, no child support, no assistance.
And she's a cutie too.
She's amazing. She's a gorgeous woman now. I just love her so much. And she knows. I got mad at her recently, and she was like, I'm sorry I let you down. I said, I still love you. Don't you worry about it.
And how old is she now?
She is 24.
Okay, I've got a 21-year-old. It really, really is an experience to like the adults that your children have turned into or are turning into, because, they're going to change as they get older as well, like we did. Unless you're the same. You're not the same as you were at 24.
No, what's really funny, though, is my general attitude about things. It's never changed since I was like 16. I've been on my own since I was 17. My daughter did the same thing. She was ready to start her life. She actually had a breakup with me. She started a breakup fight with me. And she was getting aggravated because I wouldn't react to her the way she was wanting me to.
Okay.
Because I was aware that you're starting a fight with me and I'm not going to play the game the way you want me to. Because it's a thing that I do. Women get so frustrated with me because I don't play the game. I never do. I'm aware of when I'm being manipulated, and I just don't go there. And it can be very infuriating for women in particular. And I'm a very difficult person to have a relationship with, as poor Anima has discovered, that I don't put up with any shit. It's like even Anima, I mean, she's brilliant. She is so brilliant. And like you, a Ginger, She's just this gorgeous, beautiful, lovely woman. I robbed the cradle with her. For some reason, younger women really dig me. And it's like, I don't know, I kind of reminded like Bill Murray when he talks about how women dig him. I kind of do the same thing. You know, it's like for some reason, women younger than me like me. When I was younger, older women liked me. And then something happened right around 35. It went the other way.
Oh, how did you get so damn lucky?
I don't consider it lucky because younger women can be very, very exhausting. Not just physically, emotionally too. And
I can see that.
I actually got up and walked out on a date one time. I went out with this girl. She was a model that was working at Blockbuster, and we just would talk and flirt. And we went out to dinner, and I made 3 Gilligan's Island references and another classic TV show references. She didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. She was
right.
like, what is Gilligan's Island? I went, oh, this isn't going to work. I paid for dinner. I said, hey, you have a good life. And I just left.
But here's the thing. I guarantee you, Zoe knows what Gilligan's Island is.
Of course she does. I raised her well.
Yeah.
She grew up on Peter Gabriel, Sting, the classic music I love listening to, the Beatles.
And is she still loving that music? Is that like on her playlist?
I'm sorry, my son-in-law or future son-in-law just messaged me.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
It's about, because right now we're trying to narrow down the deal to make these maquettes, these statues of Vindicated. And I'm going to share the screen for Vindicated campaign on my own screen. And that way I'll have more control over the videos. So let me, I'm going to go to Fund My Comics, and I am going to open this up over on.
How do you guys all like this, where Gary comes on my stream and thinks that he can just control the whole thing?
Well, I'm helping you.
Kind of the way I see it? If you ask me.
Well, there's no hatred, so it can't be misogynistic.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just corrected a guy last night. A very popular, Lofty Pixels is his name. Very popular guy on the interwebs.
And I'm sure I've heard his name mentioned so many times across.
He's the one who did the Elon Musk on So You Want to Be a Millionaire video. He's the guy who made that.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's the whole fuck you to Bob Iger, because Bob Iger is Elon Musk's call out.
Yeah. Hilarious. Hi, Bob.
But anyway, he used the misogynist comment last night. I said, man, this is a beef with me because I'm a grammar Yahtzee. Misogyny requires hatred. What you mean is sexist. And there's a difference between being sexist and being a misogynist. And I told the joke one night, you might like this joke. I said, it's sort of like the cop who stops a guy in Chicago for going through a stop sign. And he goes up to the driver, license, registration. He said, do you know why I pulled you over? And he goes, yeah, I didn't do a full stop back there at the stop sign. He goes, you didn't do any stop at all. He said, well, I slowed down. He says, yeah, but you didn't stop. And the guy says, yeah, but I really slowed down. I mean, it was almost a stop. That's how much I slowed down on that. And he says, yes, but you didn't stop. And he goes, stop and slow down. What's the difference? He goes, I'll explain to you. Step out of the car, sir. And the guy steps out of the car. He says, place your hands on the hood of the car, sir. And he goes, am I being arrested? He goes, no, I'm going to explain something to you. Put your hands on the hood. The guy puts his hands on the hood and he pulls out his nightstick and he begins wailing on him, beating the shit out of him. He goes, now, you want me to stop or do you want me to slow down? And I've used that as a reference for misogyny and sexism. That sexism is really just men thinking that they are, because of birth or what have you, are the superior person for everything.
Right.
And misogyny is sexism, but it requires one more ingredient, and that is hatred of women.
Hey, yeah, and just to let you know, one of the other streams that I am going to start doing is called Mansplain, And you're welcome back onto that as well.
Mansplained.
Yeah, it's Mansplain show. So I think you'll do really good. You'll fit right in on that stream as well. And you know I was being sarcastic when I called you a misogynist, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I do recognize sarcasm.
Yeah.
Even though I am on the spectrum.
I'm like, seriously, bro, like I didn't really mean I was offended. I'm like the opposite of the norm, right? I'm like, don't think I was offended because I wasn't.
And so I need to ask him this question because the guy who's going to do the sculpture with me is asking my future son-in-law if he can hollow out the figure when he's going to print it in 3D. He's going to be printing it in resin. And when it cures, it becomes like PVC. It's really hard. There we go.
You know what, Gary, since you are so good at explaining things inside StreamYards, is there a way to see how many people are watching the stream or anything like that?
Yeah, it should tell you how many are watching. There'll be an eyeball up there where it says live 21 minutes up there in the top left corner of your screen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it now.
It should tell you how many eyes
live
are watching.
viewers. Hi, 8 people. Thank you for coming to the Flip City stream. Oh, Gabron, dude, okay, real quick. Anytime a Flip City contributor pops in our chats, I have to say hello. So this is Gibran, and he just funded his comic over on Indiegogo, and then post funding, before they would release the funds, put him through a whole bunch of hoops, saying that his content was all against their terms of service. So he had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get his money. Yay.
That's why I went with, because I know the guys over at Fund My Comic. They're great guys. They're like us. And it's such bullshit when they put us through stuff. Indiegogo, Kickstarter can go fuck themselves. I'll stick with what I'm doing.
And that was the thing too. I made the assumption that you're funding exclusively on Fund My Comic.
I am right now.
Yeah, and that's something with us. I don't know if I've told you before that we started our whole thing, Flip City, by not crowdfunding. We did kind of an odd thing for an indie to do. And we just jumped into the crowdfunding game, and I am only going to exclusively use Fund My Comic because the pink and green sites, as Luke would say, could go fuck themselves. They really, really can. I can't stand censorship.
Fund My Comics is not one of those sites. They will not punish you for daring to not share their political views.
Right. Absolutely. So yay. And that's the thing. That is absolutely where we're at in our culture, with everybody being canceled and censorship and all that, is people who care about freedom of expression are building up the new platforms. And thank goodness Elon Musk got Twitter. I've heard there's still some censorship problems, but it is a whole heck of a lot better than it used to be.
It is a lot better. I feel like I can say anything over there. And I've yet to be in trouble. And I say some pretty, ground shaking, not ground breaking things that could offend a lot of people. And I am quick to go, fuck these people. Fuck you for thinking this way. And I despise commies. And all a socialist is commie-like, because it's the welcome mat to communism. Every socialist country eventually became communist.
Well, everybody should be allowed to say fuck you to each other. Literally.
I say it to all my friends.
Yeah.
I do. Every friend of mine. In fact, the guy who's editing my book, by the way, you can share my screen and take yours down. And because I'm sharing the page too. And we're at 22 already this week. Even though we launched last week, I didn't start the media thing until this week, and that's when we started really starting to see a growth. And we're already at 820 this week. I'm going to keep pushing it. Yes, Admiral Teague, it is straight up evil. Mm-hmm. I'm an agnostic. I believe that there is a higher power, that there is something that made us. but I don't fall into the category of being a Christian, even though I'm devoutly Catholic, and because I grew up Catholic. I'm an altar boy, and it led to some funny moments because that's right, I don't go to titty bars, and I just don't like them. And I've been invited to them, and I finally went one time with my boss. All my bosses took me, and my boss laughed his ass off because I sat like this the whole night with my head down. I would not look up. I had women offering to dance, and here's money, just walk away.
Take money to leave me alone, please.
And the funny thing, like in the Army, they found that hilarious because I was a notorious player in the Army. I loved women, and I would have different women every weekend. And they're like, how can somebody who is like that feel uncomfortable in a titty bar? And I'm like, I don't know. It's grown up Catholic, Irish
Right.
Catholic.
Well, I think the other thing too, and of course I can't speak for men and, and their sexual libido and all that, but I mean, I would think that it's a big difference because even if you're with a new woman every weekend, at least you have some kind of genuine connection and she actually wants to be with you. But a stripper is literally there just to get it for money. And that,
yeah, they're for
that
money.
kind of woman.
And I was taught, because I was raised in many ways before my dad took me by himself. He kidnapped me. My sisters raised me, my sister Susan in particular. And so I was raised by a first wave feminist, and she's old school feminist. And that's, even though I don't believe men, I really absolutely know men can't be feminists. We can support feminist notions, but a man can't be a feminist. And I call bullshit when guys try to say they're feminists. I'm like, no, you can't be. You're a man. Stop it. You're just trying to get laid. Fuck
right. Yeah. You're glomming on to get laid because you can't do it any other way.
Because you look at some of the biggest filmmakers in Hollywood that claim to be feminists, and they are the worst womanizers. They have the worst history with women. James Cameron, number one, numero uno.
Okay.
I think Ridley Scott is the only one who stayed true to his woman, and he's definitely one of those guys that claims to be a feminist, and it's bullshit. You can't be. You're a man, but you can support the concept of equality, which I do. I've grew up believing in equality.
Well, what
I don't believe in is that women can do everything a man can do, which is bullshit.
Well, and same thing, men can't do everything women can. That's right. Bullshit too. You can't.
If I lean against the wall with my head, I can't get back up. Women can do that. They can bend over and tap their head against the wall, lean into it, and then get right back up. Men can't. Will fall every time.
That is really funny because I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine that said another thing where women can do the head thing and then lift a chair up, and men can't do that.
Yeah, that's the other thing they can do. That's right.
Maybe it's probably the hips.
Shinatsky says Joss Whedon is another one.
Oh.
Horrible man with women. Claims to be a feminist. He's so full of shit. These guys are users, and they're phonies. Great big fat phonies, all of them. But here's the Vindicated campaign.
Yeah, let's talk about your stuff.
So we're doing really well. We're getting ready, and I've been talking with the sculptor tonight. See this one right here, this artwork right here? He is going to create this as a 1/6 and 1/12 scale maquette.
Okay.
And I don't know if we're going to paint it because I like sculpture. I like the sculptures. It'll be on a base, and one will be based on the 6-inch tall figure, and one will be a 12-inch tall figure, even though he's crouching slightly, so it's not going to be that. It'll be 1/6 and 1/12.
Well, that's pretty big. Now, and that's the thing, because I'm not really into the whole collectibles thing or anything like that. Is that something that you believe your audience is going to want as a tier? What's going on with the miniature?
The miniature will be included on some of the tiers because this is going to be really nice artwork. And I've got a buddy of mine who's an artist that lives just outside St. Louis that's going to help make the statue. And then, like I said, my future son-in-law is going to be the one who will be printing it. He'll print it in resin, and it will cure, and that stuff becomes harder than PVC. It's really wonderful, and it's very durable too. So I'm excited about doing this because I love this artwork. Is one of my favorite pieces I've done. There's more artwork
It is
I've done.
fantastic. Just going and pulling your images today. I did not know, Gary, until you launched this campaign that you were such a talented illustrator, because I had not researched you that much until this came out. And I'm like, damn, Gary.
If you go to my website, you'll see a lot more work. I've worked in movies. I remember a couple of years back, I worked for Tom Hanks. I woke up on Valentine's Day Eve, the day before Valentine's Day, and I got a notification from my boss, Dale Dye, because I've been working for Dale Dye almost 20 years. Dale Dye is the military guy behind Platoon, Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, The Pacific, Starship Troopers. He even worked on Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. He helped train the apes as an army to do their marching and shit. He's done so much stuff, and he's my boss. That's who I work for. And in fact, he was supposed to do the voiceover for the trailer, but he got sick. And so Tom from Midnight's Edge stepped up, man, and says, I'll do it. And he did an amazing job on that trailer. And I'll play that for you in a moment. But this is some of the artwork from the book. And there's something here that I want you to see that I show right off the cuff, that when he breaches this building, he fast ropes down into the building. And you can clearly see he's right-handed. He's going down the stairs backwards, holding his weapon right-handed. But he's going to take cover on this corner over here to the right. And when you do that, you do what's called a shoulder shift on your weapon. Now he's holding the weapon like he's left-handed. Because he doesn't have a pistol grip in the front, he's holding the weapon by the magazine well in the M4, on the M4. And he didn't clear the bathroom. There was somebody in the bathroom taking a piss. That guy shoots him in the prosthetic leg. And he, of course, double taps the guy, kills him instantly. But this gets the attention of the other mercs in the building. And it leads to a moment that happened, and not to me personally, but it led to a quote that was said to me by my sergeant in the Army, Dave Hope. And Dave Hope says, if you ever find yourself cornered and all hope is lost, go grenade bowling.
Okay.
And I even have him say that, go grenade bowling right there in that panel. And he just kills these guys. And he's just killing bad guys left and right in this book. And these are scumbags, because these aren't just drug manufacturing, people funding it and benefiting from it. You discover that part of their other business plan is sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And he takes
all the people that you do want dead.
Yeah. And he's going to kill these guys and take them down and stop them. And the way he says it, he ends up doing an interview with a news reporter who's terrified of him. And he does the preamble. He explains that he's declaring war on all crime in this city. He says, I'm not going to go after Billy Bob, the local weed dealer, or slinger, as he calls him. He says, I don't care about those guys. What I care about is the guys who fund this stuff, benefit from it, and who are doing damage to society with it. He says, I'm going to go after them. And so in the process, he says, this is real war. I'm a soldier. This is real war. People are going to die. And he means it. I'm going to kill these people. But in the process, I also wanted to show that this story was inspired by an actual incident that took place in 1989 when a team of U.S. Army Rangers took on a major street gang in Seattle. And they took them down.
Nice.
The gang came over and messed with them and dared them. You do whatever you want, dude. You guys aren't tough. And you get this a lot. People who don't understand how being a soldier works and what soldiering does. And you get these, because there are tier operators in the military. And if you are Ranger, you have already reached one of the tiers. If you're SOF, you are already in one of the tiers. Don't know what the number is, but the one that you attain to be is like with the U.S. Army is 75th Ranger Battalion, which is Delta Force. Delta Force is a tier 1 operating unit. And their specific job is to absolutely go against enemies. And what is horrifying about these tier 1 operators, whether it was in the Navy, Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, they are trained to operate on their own. And that's what makes John so dangerous, is he doesn't require money to be given to him. They can get down there and get into the ecosystem and find their own ways of survival in these situations and not be weeded out. And they will stay there and they'll be troublemakers, or they're there to kill somebody, take out a specific target or group of people. And they have a very high successful rate because they're that good at what they do.
Right.
And what this was a debate that happened in real life between me and my best friend, Mac, one of my best friends. I have several best friends, and I really mean it. They're best friends. Some of them I've had since childhood. But Mac and I served around the same time, and we're really good friends. And he's like my daughter's uncle. He lived with me for years. And Mac and I would get into these arguments and discussions. And we were talking about what it would take for a Punisher or a real Batman to exist and what they would be able to do. And I said, well, the Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy would fail. And he does in the movie because he creates a paper trail. You can't have a paper trail.
Right. Okay.
So this character gets all of his money and weapons through ill-gotten gain. He kills people and takes their stuff, takes their money or takes their weapons. He ends up taking on an arms dealer, and he tells the guy, he flat out just tells him, he says, look, I'm going to kill you because of who you deal with. But if you stop dealing with those people and only deal with me and never sell weapons to anybody else again, just me, I'll make sure you're paid well. If you ever betray my trust, I will kill you on your toilet while you're taking a shit.
Sounds like the way you don't want to go.
Yeah, nobody wants to toilet while they're taking a shit. I mean, what a horrible to be found.
Yeah.
And, so,
did you ever watch The Sopranos?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You remember how, I can't remember which gangster died, but he died by taking a shit, basically.
Yeah.
And hemorrhaged or whatever. Anyway,
and
that's what that reminded me of. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hemorrhaging, or you can also, vagal stimulation, the vagus nerve, runs from your pucker hole all the way to your brain. It's also what leads to brain freeze, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve also runs right through the center of the human heart.
I did not know this.
What will end up happening is while you're taking a shit, as this happens to the elderly in particular, they'll be taking a shit and it'll cause vagal stimulation, and the vagal stimulation will cause the person to go into atrial fit and kill them. They'll have a heart attack right there on the toilet.
This is very interesting.
And it's horrifying.
Now, what other ways can shitting kill you?
Well, like if you tear the inner lining, if you have a really terrible poop that's rough around the edges, it can tear the sphincter and or your intestines.
Oh God, that sounds horrible.
Well, see, I worked in the medical field for years, and I know all these nightmare things. And what's worse is every single one of these horrified me when I learned them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
I die that way because you become when you're in the medical field, you go through a short period where you're just like, I've got everything I just learned.
Yeah. You become a hypochondriac overnight.
You do. And almost every single person I ever studied with and trained with, you eventually gets that, but you get over it. You just get past it. And but it doesn't help though that I've always been a germaphobe, and I'm still that way. My kids would come home from school. They weren't allowed to hug me until they had washed their hands and face and had changed their clothes. Because if I smell recess on you, and there's the smell that kids have that they've been on the playground.
It's sweat and asphalt.
Unmistakable. Yeah,
sweat and asphalt and rubber.
It's sweat, grass, dirt, and asphalt. It's all on them. And you can smell it and you go, get the fuck away from me. Because all children are eating, shitting, disease-carrying monkeys. That's all they are. They're there to make you sick as a parent. And I tended not to get sick very often because I would do what I did. I'd make them go wash up and change their clothes.
You know, I did absolutely the opposite. I went and worked with preschoolers for years and just boosted my immune system so I didn't get sick. Yeah, I had to deal with a lot of nasty stuff, you know, poop in the pants, snot all over me, all that kind of stuff. I got really used to it. It's kind of gross at first, and then, you know, you just get used to it.
And you know, my daughter in particular sings my praises as a parent. Yeah. Because when after I potty trained her, and she learned in 1 hour. She was potty trained in 1 hour. I had to potty train a girl, which was the most horrifying experience of my life, because I had to sit down on the toilet and pee for her.
That's weird. I don't think I showed my daughter how to pee.
I did. I showed her how to pee. This is what you do. And she would try to ask me questions. I'd go, shh. And I'd have to look away. Because I have a shy bladder. And I'm like, don't touch my knee. Don't touch me. Stand back and just, you know, it's, and then she heard the water and she's like, and she was like, oh my God. I went, yeah, you get it. And she sat down and she peed so perfectly. And from that day forward, because they were going to kick her out of kindergarten if she didn't learn how to pee on the toilet. And but she had 3 accidents after I trained her that I'm aware of. She may have snuck a couple in there. And the worst one was when we moved to Springfield, where I live now. We first moved here. She was 5 years old, and she had an accident the first week we were in the apartment. And she came into my room. She was crying, Daddy, I peed the bed. And I didn't want her to feel bad. So I said, baby, I have peed the bed so many times. Don't you worry about it. It happens.
Okay? Sure. That was to make her feel better.
I never peed the bed. Mm-hmm. But I told her I did. And what I was basing it on, so I wasn't fully lying, was I got really sick once with food poisoning when I was 18. And I shit the bed in my sleep. And I thought I farted. It was not a fart.
Yeah, I know what those are. Little shart.
It was a full-on shart. It was not a little shart. It was explosive shart.
Yeah, if you mess the bed, definitely. All right. You know, it's so funny. We've totally gotten away from your campaign. So
it's all connected. It's all connected.
Well, let's see. Oh, yeah. I think we ended where you don't want to die on the toilet. That's how we ended up going.
Yeah, it's still something I'm afraid of because that's what killed Elvis. If he died.
Oh, he did. That's right. You want to go down the musician?
I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole on this. I'm just going to tell you, I believe he died there because nobody would fake dying
on a toilet.
That way. Yeah.
Right.
Just doesn't happen.
I completely understand, and I do agree. Though I don't think the Paul McCartney that we see now is the original Paul McCartney.
I still do. Because he's so amused by the whole thing, and John played into it really well because he was just messing around. But no, I absolutely still believe it is. But beyond this stuff too, you know, because I brought it up earlier, you complimented my singing voice, and I'm like, actually, I am a performer. I've written a lot of music and stuff like that, and I thought I'd share that with you too. Let me pull this out real quick.
Oh, which, by the way, that does bring me, and I'm going to bring this up while we're looking at other stuff, but Something that I wanted to do on every single Creative Chaos stream is I am basically going to put a Flip City stamp on the forehead of every person that comes in. And we're kind of claiming you by making you either sing a song Flip City's written or
We'll do
read
that.
a poem. And I have, huh?
I won't do that.
Why? You won't read a Flip City poem?
I'll read it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But why won't you sing?
I only perform music I write because I'm not very good. I'm not classically trained. I am trained as a musician, but vocally I have a rough voice, and you'll hear it. If I play this for you, you'll hear what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I will if Gary won't. Mike says.
Yeah, no, Mike is so freaking awesome. You know, he's read everything that we've put in front of him without being ashamed. So that's really, really cool of him. Okay, cool. Well, whatever you're going to show, I'm going to dig something out for when we're ending the stream. We're going to put the Flip City stamp on your forehead, and you're going to read something offensive that we've written.
Okay, that's fine with me.
All right, cool.
But what I do is I write my own music, and I've released 2 albums. I have a 3rd album that I haven't released yet because I actually want to find somebody who can sing better than me, so I can actually, because it's such complicated music on the new album. But I think I'll open with this song. I actually do write pretty music. And this is my version of the song called All Is Lost. I play all the instruments and I did the vocals on it. So here you go.
Okay, let's hear this.
Can you hear it okay?
I sleep and dream at night. I dream and sleep and I still wake up alone. Then I wash my face and then I dress my body and I wander through this home. Nothing feels the same and nothing tastes the same. It's as if someone replaced all that was real. I feel so animated and I'm so irritated and I don't even know what I feel. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. I close the door behind me and I face the street before me and now all trails end at your front step. So I walk the walk and I plan the talk and there seems to be no end to this. We were moving backward, we were moving forward, we were moving mountains in the rain. It seems so simple, yet it's so complicated that I don't even know what I want anymore. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. 'Cause all is lost. We all talk, we finally stop, we see all that we can see. So now we're one-to-one, we're tongue-to-tongue. I'm falling at your feet, and I close my eyes, I take the leap, and I fall just like a stone. I sleep and dream, and I dream and sleep, and I still wake up alone. 'Cause all is lost. 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 'Cause
That's enough of that. And look, some people don't like my voice. I don't give a shit. I really don't fucking care. I have a lot of people who buy my music that like my vocals. And if somebody doesn't like it, then, don't. I do put out instrumental albums too. But the reason why I do perform these songs is because I write them and they're very evocative. They evoke a oh, I don't hear you. You're muted.
Unmute.
There you go. And women, the greatest buyer of my music is women.
Nice.
It's women between the ages of 25 and 45 buy my music because my music is dark. It's romantic. It's emotional. This song is about my divorce from my daughter's mother and the nightmare that was for me. And I really did. I begged her, not for me. I begged her for her daughter's sake.
Right.
To stay in the marriage. And I would help her with her drug problem. And it didn't happen. She preferred drugs over her daughter. And I'm like, okay, well, you are now officially the enemy and I will protect my daughter from you.
Now, did she ever go and get herself clean or? No,
she's still a fucking wreck. Zoe has tried so hard to have relationships with her. And I remember having to eavesdrop when there was nowhere to go. I was trapped in the dining room and she was in the room right next to it and she's yelling. She was 16 years old and she goes, "Why do I have to be the adult in our relationship?" And I'm like, I'm so proud of her. But at the same time, I was wishing I didn't have to listen to this because it's none of my business. And I've always taken that approach with her. I told her, I said, look, when it came to her mother, I said, you have a right to know who your mother is. I had to know who mine was. I found out what she was, that I loved her, but I couldn't have a relationship with my mom because she was a wreck. And the same thing goes with Zoe and her mom. She's a wreck. And she's one of those people that thinks that she's driving in her boat, riding along, just so happy on that water. She never looks back in the wake of all the blood and gore that she's caused.
Right.
And she's just one of those people, falls into that category. And it's tragic. And Zoe learned that. And she finally cut her out of her life. Doesn't want anything to do with her. And she's almost had to do that with other members of that side of the family. It's just because I told her, I said, look, baby, crazy doesn't fall far from the tree. I hate saying that. But
so does she question her own sanity then? She's like,
she worried about it. Finally, she started understanding why I really pressed upon her being honest and forthright. I said, because your mother was a chronic, pathological, inveterate liar. And, she would just lie for no reason, no gain from it. Just, I don't know. She lied in a way that just blew my mind. And she would not be honest about anything. So it was sad.
Yeah, that is too bad. I mean, of course, it's always best when children have two parents. Preferably, in my opinion, of the opposite sex, because men and women work so well together. to help raise up the next generation, you know.
And I did. I actually did. I tried to get married one more time to a school marm, and it just did not work out. And she didn't like my daughter and wouldn't talk to her unless she had to. And I'm like, I don't want my daughter to have that. No. And so I walked away, and I'm like, I'm sorry, baby. It's just going to be me. Just going to be me. And so, and we did pretty well. And she sings my praises as a dad. She always tells me, you were a great dad. You were there for me all the time. Always doing stuff for me, helping me, making me understand things.
Yeah. Doesn't that feel good? When
Well,
your adult
it does.
children can tell you that.
It does, because I spent years being told I was a terrible dad and that I shouldn't have the kids. And then I get Zoe, and Zoe is, again, here's that word, is my vindication that I was a good dad, that these people were just doing this to control me. They wanted power and authority over me. And I believed it. I fell into that trap for years. And the Army saved me. The U.S. Army taught me how to fight, taught me how to stand up for myself.
Yeah. How long were you in the service, by the way? I don't know that.
I served a total of 8 years, but I went inactive or reserve status pretty quickly, because when we had our child together, the female soldier I served with, she didn't want a kid. She didn't want to raise him. And so I left active duty to raise the kid and do all the parenting. And what I forgot, though, was that she fell in love with G.I. Joe Gary. And when I was stay-at-home mom, dad, I was not interesting to her. So she ended up taking off with another soldier. And then eventually screwed me over and took off with the kid, too. And I'm still alienated from him to this day. We just don't get along. He and I, we love each other, but we don't get along.
Right.
And it's my oldest boy and my daughter who I get along with. My oldest boy, I did spend a lot of time with him, and I've always been open in talking with him and being there. And he is one of the first people also to stand up for me and go, look, man, I know how my mother and her family is and how he was treated. And so, no, I do take my dad's side. He takes my side. And I appreciate it more than he knows. But all of this has helped lead to the name Vindicated, because the name Vindicated came to me pretty quickly for this book. I drove 2 blocks to pay my rent, and from leaving my house to the landlord's office and back, the entire story of Vindicated had come to me. It was inspiration.
Nice.
And it will be. In the end, it will be probably my magnum opus of a story, because it is everything I ever wanted to do for soldiers that served in combat and paid, because the ultimate price isn't always dying in combat. And if you've had a chance to look at the opening of the book, I wrote a little blurb in there, and the blurb now reads, I did update it a little bit. It says, Vindicated Inc. is my love song to every warrior who left a piece of themselves on the battlefield or brought a piece of the battlefield back home with them. Okay. And that's what this is about. This is my love for combat vets. And I've got a lot of friends who served. I did the Army thing, but I didn't get to do those things. And I wanted to be a parent. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a dad. And it was more important to me than going to war. So much so that when the Gulf War broke out again after 9/11, I couldn't go, because they told me I would have to give up my rights to my daughter. Somebody else would have to be in charge. There was no one else. It's just me taking care of her. And the only other people in her life were the people I had to fight for that custody. So there was no way I was going to ever trust them with my daughter.
Right, absolutely.
So I had to abstain from the military and stay home and take care of her. We get some more people popping in.
Yeah, I wanted to say what's up to our buddy America Inc. Music. Last year, he actually uh, composed, he put together a composition of one of our satirical Christmas songs called Get Rid of Many Immigrants. And it's it actually won a contest that we ran around this time last year. He was the winner of our thing. In fact, let's take, I really do want to share this with you, Gary, because it is freaking hilarious. I'm going to bring up Get Rid of Many Immigrants by America Inc. Music. So freaking funny.
Go for it.
Yeah. So America Inc., I hope you're still out there because, and I've got to tell you this as well. Scott and I have listened to this song. I think I've probably listened to it about 20 different times because it is so hardcore. You know what? Like I said, I'm not the best at multitasking. So give me one moment while I pull this up. And what you guys are going to see here is Get Rid of Many Immigrants, written by Flip City, illustrated by Dangerous Dave McDowell, and performed by America Inc. Music. And one moment, just finding it on my channel. It's a year ago. Here we go. And
I'm not hearing anything.
I'm hearing it.
Did you share it with us?
Yeah, I'm wondering, chat, can you guys hear it?
Because I don't think they're hearing it either.
No, that's a bummer.
Yeah, Teague says they're not hearing it. So
Sucks.
make sure,
Okay.
unshare it, go to share it, and make sure you select the audio. So unshare it, go back to reshare it, and make sure you select. There's a little toggle switch at the bottom of the screen for audio when you go to share it.
Sorry, guys. That's such a, hold on. I'm going to try this again. Okay, present. It is a hardcore song. Thank you, Gary, for telling me, because I'm like, how is he not rocking out to this? Share screen. Okay. Okay. Let's see here.
There we go.
Can you hear it?
Again.
Did you hear the bells? I
Nope.
don't see it. Okay, I don't
Nope.
see a toggle
Do me
switch.
a favor. Give me the link to it, and I will share it on my screen.
I love how you're so patient, but you're like also impatient.
Oh, I'm not impatient at all, but I'm here to help.
I know.
I know how to
was
do these
kidding
things,
with you.
and so I am absolutely here to help.
Okay, it is in our private chat, but I'm also going to put it in the YouTube comments for anybody that wants to listen to it again after the show. This is America Inc. Music performing Get Rid of Many Immigrants.
Okay, add the screen. Are we back up? I don't see my screen yet. You gotta
let me stop.
click on mine to add it again. There we go.
All right.
You can hear that, right? Are you hearing it?
Yes.
Get rid of many immigrants who landed on our shores and send them to a Motel 6 or a military fort. The governor of Florida, who trafficked in the state, uses bonds and Ron DeSantis game. Satan's game. Uses bonds and Ron DeSantis game. Get rid of many immigrants, our resources are poor. He's created an emergency that wasn't there before. Before we have recovered, then he threatens to send more. And the cruelty is always the point. The cruelty is always the point. Get rid of many immigrants, try not to leave a trace. They're dirty and they're smelly and don't want jobs anyway. They've never learned the customs and we haven't got the space. Now let's celebrate our empathy and grace. Empathy and grace. Empathy and grace. Let's celebrate our empathy and grace. Empathy and grace. Empathy and grace. Let's celebrate our empathy and grace.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, America Music Inc. or Inc. Music. I forget which way you like to do it. So, yep. That's something also that Flip City loves doing is collaborations on all fronts. So, yeah, if you feel like you want to be creative with Flip City, just email us, contact us, and let us know what your talents are. We'll take it. Gary, you're muted. There you go.
I know. I was actually thought the song might go longer, and I'm calling my daughter. Hey, Zoe,
No.
do me a favor. Tell Hunter to look at my message to him, please. It's important.
He's currently playing CSGO right now.
Hey, do me a favor. I'm doing a show right now, live show interview. Tell them, am I an awesome dad?
Yes,
How awesome am I?
pretty awesome.
I don't think she's selling it at all.
No, she is not selling it whatsoever. I think your dad is
All right, I love you, baby. Tell Hunter to check his messages on Facebook. I love you. Bye-bye.
Gotcha. You too. Bye.
Okay, I've got to reply to this comment. Shinotsky, that's how we say
That's
that name.
Shinotsky. He's working
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah, Shinotsky. So we didn't even know that Flip City was a Ghostbusters song because Flip City was actually chosen from a Joni Mitchell song where Cheech Marin at the end of the song says, "Man, that chick's crazy. She's Flip City." So basically Flip City means crazy. And then I was trying to look it up, like, because I couldn't remember the song name. And that Ghostbusters Flip City song came up. And I've never heard anybody else ever tell me that they connect us with that. So there's a short story for you.
So here's the trailer. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. This
Let's
is
do it.
with Tom from Midnight's Edge doing the voiceover for me.
Thank you,
And
Tom.
are you guys ready? Here you go.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity. But his identity isn't the only secret he has to keep. After grievous wounds received during combat, Tier 1 operator John Russell begins to recover and comes to terms with his new reality of being an amputee. And as he learns how to use his new prosthetic limb, he finds himself caught up in the bureaucratic red tape that too many wounded veterans experience, the exhausting medboard process. Out of sheer frustration, John takes it out on the criminal scum of the city. But when reality kicks in, John realizes he started something that's having an impact on the greater world around him, and thus has to reevaluate his motives. And moreover, just how far is John willing to go to finish this war he's declared against the criminals in Seattle? And will he even survive? From the creator of IDW's award-winning graphic novel Code Word Geronimo comes a new story about a different kind of warrior, Vindicated Inc., the first of its kind disabled veteran action hero comic. The Vindicated Inc. graphic novel crowdfunding campaign on fundmycomic.com is provided in the description of this video. We hope you become a contributor. Please share this link. Thank you.
Please share that link.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity.
You're muted, Gary. Okay. I guess Gary's talking to Zoe again.
No, I was talking to you, but then I went, oh, I hear you. I'm muted. So I was getting the link for you, so I couldn't speed over to unmute myself. Here's the link in the private chat to the campaign. You can share it. I can't share it on yours because I'm not a mod.
Oh, okay. I will share that right now. So, and also, even though this is the second attempt live stream, I was able to get the link in the video description as well. So anybody that might happen upon this stream after the fact, it is also in the video description to go support Vindicated Inc. On Fund My Comic exclusively, which is freaking awesome.
They're politically neutral and support people, those of us who have a more conservative view on things.
See,
and as a patriot, I'm considered ultra right wing.
Well, you're actually considered a terrorist by some. I mean,
it's just stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is. It is really stupid. The left-wing talking points trying to demonize everybody that doesn't hold similar opinions as evil, demonic, cult members, all that kind of stuff. It's all pure projection, and it's I'm sick and tired of it. Along with all the censorship and all that kind of stuff that, all of us correct thinking human beings have to put up with while we're tolerating the speech of our quote unquote enemies. I don't know if I consider them enemies or not. They're not a threat to me, but they are a threat to my freedom,
Yep. They are. They're absolutely a threat to liberty and freedom. And what I tell people, what we have in this country is liberty. People misconstrue it and say freedom, and it's not really freedom, because freedom is a misunderstanding of what we have. We are free people, but what we have in this country is liberty, and liberty is what we get to exercise. And the government is not actually alive. It's not a living thing. The flag doesn't represent the government. It represents us, the people, which is why burning the flag is so insulting. They don't understand that. That flag represents the people who have given blood up for this country. That's what the red is for. That flag represents every citizen. It has nothing to do with the government, and the government is nothing here because it's supposed to be a representative government, a government that represents us, the people. But it's forgotten that. And we have left and right alike that abused privileges in this country. I'm not a big fan of Republicans. I'm a conservative. And there's a difference between being a conservative and being a Republican. I stand for liberty. I stand for patriotism. I stand for that flag, and I stand for the American citizens. And every single time you create a new law, you empower your government over you. And I can't stand that. So I get also misconstrued for being a, what do they call that? I'm a constitutionalist. It's really what I am, a strict constitutionalist.
Right.
But I get pulled into that one group that has all the
Libertarians?
strippers. Libertarians that have the strippers and porn stars that run for office on the libertarian thing. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm not a libertarian. I'm a strict constitutionalist. I'm conservative, but I also believe that through programs that we create as citizens, that we are here to support and take care of the poor.
Now, see,
And-
that is where I think we would differ a bit as far as taking care of the poor. I think private citizens through charities can handle
Charities have failed. They do a good job, but they don't really go to the lengths that we need it to, because especially when you've got Democrats in office that keep making people poorer. Okay. And with politicians in general who keep giving themselves raises instead of taking care of, making sure that companies are paying their employees correctly. Now, we can't enforce that, but I tell people all the time, the minimum wage thing that we created, that is not a standard. You should never base your pay on the least amount you're legally allowed to pay. If you're doing that, then you look like a shitheel. As an entrepreneur, I always make sure that I pay the people I work with the wage they deserve for what they do. Now, I get into arguments about what it means to have a living wage, and I look at the living wage as what Eisenhower looked at it as. He was a Republican that I trusted, and I would have loved to have known Eisenhower. Ike was a great guy, great Republican, great conservative, and he was a big supporter of the living wage, and that you should be able to have one fucking job that you can pay your damn bills with.
Right. Now, when we're talking about minimum wage and stuff like that, I do believe the free market can
Well, the
take
free
care of
market
that.
has to exist.
Right. But isn't that kind of stepping on the free market to say there is a mandatory minimum wage? Because people should
Well, there is
have
a
the
mandatory
liberty
minimum.
have the liberty to work for what they choose to give their services, labor, whatever they're doing.
Here's my
for.
problem with that is if you let some people, they will abuse their employees. And there has to be actionable rights to fight people from doing that, where they intentionally pay people substandard wages. And if they're in a depressed economy, like certain areas of this country, like I live in one, Missouri has where I'm at in Missouri, economy, it's cheaper to buy bread and food here and pay rent here. Why? Because we're in kind of a depressed economy in the state of Missouri. It's a red state, and it's a right to work state. But when you give all the rights to the free market and not to the people that work in it, you've got a fucking problem. I don't believe in nanny states. I don't think the state should be stepping in to interfere, but I do believe that there should be citizen groups that have authority to stop companies from abusing the locals.
Well, see,
And we do it backwards.
There you go. You just came up with You came up with a solution without having to have the government involved.
Yeah, you can't have the government do it because the government can't do shit.
The government wastes everything.
Yeah. All it will focus on, if you give government anything, will constantly focus on paying itself to keep itself going. And it'll keep wanting to get more and more and more. It's a horrible fucking animal. Citizen groups are always better and work better because they're part of the local system. It's ridiculous, man. The way everything runs. Like if you come here to Springfield, Our city council is so corrupt that they only focus on businesses that they own themselves when they make decisions in this town.
Right.
And-
Right.
And because I'm a big supporter of the free market, because I explained to my girlfriend, who is Austrian, I said to her, because she hates talking politics, but I'm like, well, whether you like it or not, baby, you live in a world that if you let the system do what it's going to do, it will railroad you every time if you don't stand up. And you have to stand up as a citizen. You have to. And Admiral Teague he and I, God, a lot of you guys that are watching right now, we have had great conversations in private. And I get mistaken for being a right-wing Republican. And I'm like, I am not. I don't stand with them. I don't agree with them because Republicans, I think, tend to be a problem too. I think that, they forget who they serve. And that's my problem. They forget who they serve. We need, if you want to have social programs, public school, any kind of form of socialized medicine for the poor, you can have those things. But you know what you also have to have when you do that? You have to have a thriving economy.
Right.
And the only way to do that is through a free market. But then I fall under the same beliefs of Teddy Roosevelt, that corporations in particular are horrible beasts. And you have to make sure they don't abuse the system. And that's why he did what he did when he broke up Mobil Oil. Because Mobil Oil was killing mom and pop smaller operations, is what I mean when I say mom and pop operations. But I also fought here in Springfield for Walmart to be able to open its stores. And everybody in this town was like, they shouldn't be allowed to. They're going to shut down all the mom and pop operations. And I said, that's the free market. I'm sorry. That's how it works. But I do think you should. If you really give a shit, instead of preventing Walmart from opening a store, make sure you shop at the mom and pops. But those same fucking people that were protesting here in Springfield, where did they go shopping?
They
Walmart.
they wanted their cheap Cheetos.
Yep. I caught them. I caught them. People who would bitch at me. I caught at least 12 of my friends that were bitching about Walmart shopping at Walmart.
Right.
A couple of them even went to work for Walmart.
I do not shop at Walmart or Target.
I shop for certain things from Walmart. My favorite place to go is Hy-Vee.
I don't know what that is.
Hy-Vee is a competitor, but they're locally owned and operated, but they are a chain of stores. And they only buy, if it's available, they only buy from local meat, grain, and vegetable suppliers.
Oh, that's nice.
That's why I like Hy-Vee.
That really
Go look
helps.
them up. They do that. They work with state people in the state. And when I buy my grain-fed beef, I buy it from Hy-Vee, not from Walmart. I don't want shit from China or Venezuela. I want stuff that's local. And so you get that at Hy-Vee. But when I buy canned goods and shit like that, or like some of the mixes I get for foods, Chinese food and gravies and stuff, I'll buy that from Walmart. It's cheaper, and nobody's going to buy that from local. But when you start buying stuff like meat, grain, and vegetables, it's important to buy from a store that serves from local, regional.
Right. And I've got to just say to Skunk that I am super jealous that you have the opportunity to buy from the Amish. I would just assume that is some of the least pesticide-ridden, non-GMO, and I'm sure you get a decent
at the farmers markets. Absolutely.
See, we don't have Amish in California, so.
I will say this with the Amish. I had one experience with them. I've dealt with the Mennonites for years. I like the Mennonites. They're Amish light. And run into them at the store. I'll run into them at the grocery stores and stuff. I love the Mennonites. But the Amish, I had a bad experience with them living near Mountain Grove here in Missouri for a brief period. And there's a whole Amish community here in Missouri. And the school bus, we had to deal with this fucking guy. I think, I know he was mentally handicapped, mentally retarded. And he would climb up on the barn. And when the school bus would go by, he would beat off, standing on the barn.
Oh Lord.
It was a real fucking problem.
Yeah. There's
like,
Billy the Beater again.
We were like asking him, please deal with your dude. Please. They tried to, and eventually the sheriff's department had to intervene. And they're like, look, man, we're sorry, but we're arresting him. He's going to jail.
Right.
We can't have him doing this. Because they tried their best to control him. But that was some crazy shit down there near Mountain Grove, Missouri.
Sounds like a party.
Oh my God. I never saw it myself. We would get it reported to us from the kids and the teachers that were seeing it. But yeah, he gets right up there and just going to town. I'm like, hi, I didn't know the Amish did that. Okay.
Skunk, I don't know why you want to hang out with that guy, but okay. This is one of your friends, Gary, right?
No, I don't know Skunk.
Oh, hey, what's up, Skunk?
Look, you can talk to Shinatsky. Shinatsky hangs out with me. He's one of the people that's in my inner circle of friends. And he's the one who made the trailer, by the way. He made the trailer you saw.
Oh, he did. Good job,
yes.
Shinatsky.
Yes, he did. Teague is another one that's in my inner circle. He's a good friend. We haven't known each other that long, but I took a shine to Admiral Teague. And I've been on his Save Star Trek show. And because Keith and I, my partner that I do the shows with, he and I are big critics of current Trek. Since actually all the way back to 2009 when J.J. Abrams did his film. And people go, that was a good film. No, it wasn't. What he had was great casting, but a terrible fucking movie. It was Star Wars. It wasn't Star Trek. And Star Trek needs to be cerebral. It needs to be smart. It needs to be science fiction. So, yes, absolutely, Teague. Teague, I get Teague. I get all my friends. Teague is grown-up Dean Venture.
What, did I miss that?
Yeah, that's fucking Shinatsky. Dean Venture is so fucking funny. I love the Venture Brothers. It's a straight-up parody. The first season in particular really was, each episode was kind of a response to an episode of Johnny Quest. And I love that. I love Johnny Quest. Grew up on it. I own every episode. I have the documentary, The Making of Johnny Quest. I love Johnny Quest. And I loved the Venture Brothers because it was a grown-up parody of Johnny Quest. And it's so fucking funny.
Okay, and this is why I will never be in your guys' inner circle. I would never be able to keep up with all of the entertainment that you guys consume because I just don't. I don't. Like I said earlier, I don't even remember movies that I've seen like 2 months later. But I do have admiration for you guys that do it and then stream about it and know all the lore and Easter eggs and all that stuff. So good on you.
Keith and I became friends, and he's the black dude I do the shows with. And I always tell a fake story. The fake story is I met him at VisionCon, and I said, "Dude, I lost my best black friend when I moved here. Will you be my best black friend?" I need a black guy so I don't feel like a racist white guy.
So that's your lore.
That's our fake story that we tell.
That's funny.
But Keith became my bestie here in Missouri because he thinks like me. And though we are politically opposed in most ways, he's what you would refer to as a blue dog Democrat, old school Hubert Humphrey style Democrat, whereas I refer to myself jokingly as a Hubert Humphrey Republican. And but what I am is just a conservative that used to be Irish Catholic Democrat with my dad, and we both broke from the Democrat Party in the 80s. And the first time I ever voted, I got to vote for Ronald Reagan for the second term, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not proud that I voted for George Bush. I ended up hating him while I was in the Army and refused to vote for him for a second term because he was a coward. Not a big fan of Schwarzkopf or Colin Powell. I was, as Dennis Miller called him, Simon Bar Sinister, a little motherfucker of the Patriot. I just forgot his name that ran for president against Bush and Clinton. And
now, are you saying then that you've always been conservative since you reached voting age?
Well, here's the thing. I consider myself a Democrat. But I was conservative as a Democrat. I was a Hubert Humphrey. Because Hubert Humphrey today would be a Republican. Everything he stood for is what I've always stood for. I loved Hubert Humphrey. He was one of, he got caught with his hand in the till once. And so he's not a perfect politician. He was definitely, I think all of them are corrupt. I got to be honest. But he was about as non-corrupt as you got. But he got pulled into that ab scam thing too. He was
right.
in it.
Now, when the Ron Paul revolution came through, were you on board with that at all?
Ask that again?
Ron Paul?
Oh, I like Ron Paul. I like Ron Paul, and I kind of like his dad. I think his dad.
Ron Paul. That is his dad.
Okay. I like the son. I like the son more than the dad.
Okay.
He is absolutely an aggressive motherfucker. I like guys that don't put up with other people's bullshit. Calls people liars when they're fucking lying.
Yeah.
He's the one who outed Fauci. And I love that guy for doing that. But I think sometimes, I don't agree with everything they say politically. But I'm one of those people that's, 90% of me is conservative and 10% of me still has that liberal leaning when it deals with the poor in particular, because I grew up poor, dirt poor, didn't have much of anything. If it weren't for social programs, I would have starved as a kid. Charity didn't help us.
So you had government cheese.
Yeah.
Which is American cheese.
Yeah. I've had American cheese as a kid, that stuff that they gave out, the big block of cheese.
Yeah, we also got that as well.
And I got to tell you, I wrote a song. I was in a punk band. Okay, I was in a couple of punk bands. First punk band I was in was with my best friend I grew up with, Jim Woodward. And the band was called The Smelly Pubes. And I wrote a song. First song I ever wrote was called There's a Dead Mouse in My Room and It Smells Like Shit. And it was a true story because I came home from Christmas break and a mouse died in my trash can. And it was horrible. It had smelled peanut butter in my trash can, fell in there and died.
Okay.
Starved to death. And I wrote the song. That's the only lyrics of the song. There's a dead mouse in my room. There's a dead mouse in my room. There's a dead mouse in my room. It smells like shit. And then I wrote another song because the guitarist in my band was, fuck him, I'll say his name, Sergei Dubovik. He was a piece of shit. Fucking hated that guy. And we had a singer. Her name was Michelle. I think Henny was her last name. She had a voice that was amazing. And I would do duets with her because I would sing from behind my drum kit. And we would do songs together. And I just loved her. She was a plump little girl. She was gorgeous, but she was a tubby, And Sergei turned to her one day during practice, rehearsal. And he said, you'd be very good for front of band if you weren't so fat. And his grammar pissed me off at first, but then I went, wait, what did he just say? And when I turned and saw her face and what he did to her, just her face was broken. And I saw it. I can read expressions so well. Mm-hmm. I had acrylic drumsticks, 5B drumsticks. They were heavy acrylic drumsticks because I would break the tips off of drumsticks. I do a lot of rim shots. And I took that fucking drumstick, leaned back, and I threw it right at his head. And it went flying through the air, zip past his head. He turned and saw it stick into not drywall, but sheetrock.
Oh, my God.
I threw it that fucking hard. It went into the sheetrock. He looked at that, and then he turned back, and everything was in slow motion at this point. I'm going to describe it to you. He turned and looked at me. He's still strapped into his guitar. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. And I'm throwing my kit in different directions. I'm just going through my drum set, just throwing, and the cymbals, everything's flying, and my big bass drum flips through the air. and I'm coming at him. My arms are out like Frankenstein. And he has the wherewithal to unstrap his guitar, set it in the guitar stand before running. And the irony of this motherfucker is he was on welfare, straight up welfare. Came from Russia and immediately went on into welfare. Immediately. And he ran, and I never caught him. I couldn't catch him. He was too fucking fast. And I told him, don't come back. Send somebody for your equipment. Don't fucking come back if I catch you, because we owned the house. We lived in the house, my whole band. He was the only member not living in the house. I said, don't come back. Send somebody for your shit. And oh my God. And I felt so bad for her because she had an amazing voice, Michelle did. And fuck that guy. And I wrote a song about him called Commies on Welfare. And it went just like this. Commies on welfare, commies on welfare, Pinko in a cheese line, Pinko in a cheese line, commies on welfare.
Oh my God. You should re-release it right now.
No, I'm well past that.
Okay, so this is what's hilarious. Earlier, you gave me a hard no on singing on my stream, and you just keep fucking singing. So I'm bringing my song up, and you're going to sing.
I don't know, man.
Just kidding.
I did play football. I was all district, all state football player and baseball player. I played semi-pro baseball, farm league in Virginia. They got a real ball field now in Fredericksburg. There's an actual stadium in Fredericksburg where I grew up. I'm like, we didn't have that. We played on the high school baseball diamond when we played. And I played in high school. I was very good athlete. But I hurt my arm. I threw my arm out because what I was known for was I didn't throw to the cutoff. Anybody who knows baseball knows what I'm saying. I would played out in right field, and that's where all the balls went. I always came out to right field, and I would throw past the cutoff all the way into the plate, and I could hit it. And in the process of doing that, I tore my rotator cuff, and it fucked me up, and it ended my ability to play baseball.
I just had to bring Kelsey Weber up. She is another Flip City artist. So yes, hi Kelsey. And I think I might do this, and this may be part of the creative chaos. If I get people that have contributed in some way to Flip City, I might bring something up that you've done. So Kelsey, hang in there, and Gary can keep telling me stories about how athletic he was while I was being a band nerd.
Well, I got to tell you, I played in band along with a lot of my friends, and Mr. Jordan didn't want his drum corps playing football because he would do band practice in the morning and football practice in the afternoon. And so he forced our hands. And I was JV at the time, and he decided that he was going to make band practice after school, same time as football practice. He lost almost everybody in the drum corps because we all played football, and we decided we have a better chance of getting laid playing football. So
I don't know. Band people are pretty horny, and
yeah, I knew a couple.
Stop
of them.
The punishment. They're pretty horny, and they have very good mouth control. That's all I'm going to say about that. And breath control. So yeah, I'm going to bring up some of Kelsey's work here in just one moment because it is Creative Chaos #1. And I want to thank Gary again so much for helping me get my problem solved to actually stream to YouTube. And thank you to everybody hanging out in the chat. My plan is to stream every Thursday starting at 6 p.m. PST, 9 EST. So smash that like button and share the stream out. I'm having a really good conversation with you, Gary. Thank you.
Oh, you bet. I love talking to people. And, you know, you would never know by the way I have conversations. I'm a real extreme introvert.
No, liar.
No,
liar!
I'm tested INFJ. We are a very strange people. We only make up 2% of the entire human population. INFJs are introverts, but we have the ability to socialize, whereas most introverts can't.
Okay.
And we are quite comfortable. But when we do that, we then require a period of time to recover from it. I need 2 to 3 days. Anytime I do a comic convention, 2 to 3 days of being left the fuck alone. I have to be left alone and got to be completely alone. Don't talk to me. Don't bug me. And I re-energize that way. INFJs are not extroverts, because extroverts are people who require energy from other people.
Mm-hmm.
A true introvert is somebody who self-energizes. I get all my energy from me. I don't need anybody else doing anything. You will never find me asking. I've never asked anybody their thoughts on anything I'm really doing. I'll ask their opinion on something I created. And there's only one human being on this planet, only one, that I've ever gone to for personal advice on anything. And that is my friend Jim Woodward, because he has known me for almost 50 years. That guy is just, we've been close since 5th grade, best buddies. And that guy knows how to talk to me about what I'm doing and how I internalize things. So, but I guess I can also share with you my my artwork, because I am the first graphic novel creator that won the Military Writers Association award. No graphic novel had ever been given that award until my book.
What was the award again?
Military Writers Association.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I was given the Bronze Award for Code Word Geronimo that I created, but was written by my boss, Dale Dye, and his wife, Julia. They wrote the script.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'd be happy to look at more of your work. And that's the thing with me. I don't do any of the illustration inside Flip City because I do not have that skill. And but I am kind of an art nerd, so I do love looking at other people's work. And this was something that we published in the most recent edition by Kelsey Cade. And if anybody's familiar with basically our shitty representatives in Congress and things like that, these are some takes on them with Poe-style written verse to go along with them. So we've got Grossa DeLoro and Stacy Casket on this, but Kelsey did a full spread. So there's 2 more on the other side. So love you, Kelsey.
I'm what's referred to as a true Renaissance artist, because there's not any form of art that I can't do. I can compose and play music. I can write poetry. I paint, I sketch, I sculpt. In fact, there's samples of my sculptures here. Let me enlarge this, engorge it. I'm engorging this page so I can read it more. Let's get to sculpture. Here's some of my sculpts I've done. Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer has the original of this before he passed away.
You sculpted that?
Yep.
Very nice.
Sean Connery.
Damn.
This is during the sculpture. I was sculpting it. This is Rutger Hauer. Some more stuff. I sculpted the official bust of actor Brian James. Oh, there it is. There's Brian. He was in Blade Runner. His family commissioned me to do that for his golf tournament that was put in his name after he passed away, and that was the final sculpt of Brian James.
Really cool.
I sculpted. That is the bronze casting that was done for the golf tournament, the Brian James. Each one was numbered and signed. Another shot of it, 3D, so we could show it different angles. I'm very good at all of that crap. I paint.
And we got a question for you.
Yeah.
Skunk asked, "What scale is that?" But we did.
That is actually just above 1/12 or 1/6 scale, just above 1/6 scale. That I did a Harrison Ford full body statue that stood 14 inches tall, so it was just above 1/12. or 1/6 scale. I paint movie posters. I've worked on films. That's the Bruce Campbell Running Time movie poster that went with the special release by Synapse Films.
Nice.
Bruce is on here, right here. Oh, looks like the page got messed up. And he said, this is an actual quote by Bruce, Gary's art is groovy, baby. Bruce Campbell.
Oh, nice.
And this is one of my movie posters I did. In this case, the art was better than the movie. This is a commission portrait of William Shatner. I love
That's really cool. I really like
Thank
that. Yeah, it looks like you're pretty good at working in multiple styles. Holy moly.
Yeah, I'm photorealistic like this one here. And then I also do stuff like this. This was acrylic on illustration board. It's the very first movie thing I ever did for Salt City Video, Beyond Sanity. And it's a self-portrait. That's me in an actual straitjacket.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, my buddy Jason Pancookie is still a close friend of mine. This is one of the covers I painted for Dale Dye's Outrage reprinting.
Damn,
And
that
he
is
loved it.
photorealistic.
Yeah, but once you get in there and start really looking at the
Yeah.
scale of this,
No, but the lighting, holy crap.
let me open up here, and it begins to lose detail when you start really zooming in on the artwork,
Hmm.
and you'll start seeing
But that's pretty
there's
cool
really
in
no face.
itself.
That's a single line.
Yeah, right?
Very simple painting.
Yeah.
And I love doing that stuff. I'm the official artist for Warrior Publishing, owned by Dale Dye. I'm his personal artist. I proudly work for him. And he likes working with me because he doesn't have to correct me. This was my contribution to G.I. Joe before the IDW lost its license. I did one of the covers for G.I. Joe.
Nice. Yeah. So how long have you been in the industry, like paid as a freelance?
I've been making money as an artist since 1986. I worked
How old
for
were you
Selling
then?
Power.
10?
In 86, I was 22. And I was the drummer in a punk band, but I also was a very good artist. And Selling Power magazine hired me to be their in-house artist. And I was working with big names, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Carnegie. I met so many people. I worked with John Cleese. One of the first cartoon strips I did for them, it was self-help, positive thinking comic strips that I would do. And it got published by Reuters' internal newswire. They paid to republish my cartoon strip I did, of explaining that when you're selling something to somebody, you need to shut up every once in a while and listen to the customer. Don't keep talking. Sometimes they need to say something back to you. And they're like, Laura and Gerhard, who own the magazine, were like, where did you learn this stuff? I said, I don't know. I just read a lot. Read a lot of
Nice.
books. They're like, did you go to college? I went to fake college. And they were like, what's a fake college? I said, I met a girl and I moved into the dormitory because a guy's roommate didn't show up. I lived in the dorm. I got a card key to get in at JBT Terrace at William and Mary. I'm in the yearbook for 1983. It was the class of 82, but it was for 83. I'm in the fucking yearbook. You can find me. I don't have a student photo. I was on a stage play. I did a lot of acting. I liked acting. But I was doing acting so I could learn how to direct, because I just wanted to be behind a camera and learn how to work with actors. And I went to film school, real film school, University of Illinois, dropped out because I'm like, you're not going to be able to teach me anything I need. I'll find out more from books.
I'm going to butt in there for a sec because I am really interested in your perspective. Directing film, but learning to work with actors. I'd love to hear what you think about working with actors.
Well, here you go. I was about to get to it.
Oh,
I started working. I made a short film and won an award for it. And while I was giving my thank you speech, I said, I don't know if I'll ever make another film again, because I've never been more annoyed with other human beings in my life than I was working on this film. I said, my editor drove me insane, and I don't fucking understand actors. I look at you and go, what the fuck are you talking about? You guys spout philosophy and you have no experience, and I don't understand why you think the way you think. I'd already been in the military at this point, and I'd gone out and seen the world and done shit. And I'm like, you people haven't done a fucking thing yet, and you're spouting philosophy off? That's like a virgin describing sex. Jesus Christ, and that's when I started this. I decided I'm going to be an artist and fuck making film. But occasionally I would get together with friends and we'd make short films, and I'd always win. Whatever I competed in, I always won because I'm a very good storyteller. And I know how to make films. And then I discovered I could go back to comics because I started out wanting to be a comic artist, but I started running into publishers and I didn't like them. And if I don't like somebody, I don't want to work with them or for them. That's the thing with me. And it's still that way. And in 2008, the economy took a dump, and my career as an artist for ad agencies and marketing companies died. I became a full-time freelancer, and I could not survive doing that. So IDW, Tom Waltz at IDW discovered me because we're already friends. We had a business together, and we both served. We're veterans. And IDW hired me first to do animated trailers because I knew how to do animation. And I would do the voiceovers and compose the music, or I'd get my buddy to do the voiceovers for these trailers for IDW's comics. And then one day, Tom walked into Chris Ryle and Ted Adam during a production meeting, and he says, Gary's a better artist than he is at doing this video shit. And he had printed out my portfolio. And that's when they started working with me as an artist. That was 2010.
Now, if let's just say we've got some newer artists in here that want to start making it in freelance, if you were to give like a 30-second piece of advice, what would the best advice you'd give to find work?
One, if you're just starting, lie. Fudge your portfolio, make up stuff, do the actual work, but make up clients. I did it. I lied. And that's how I got jobs. But I still did the work. But the work wasn't paid for. And I fluffed up advice. I fluffed up my portfolio the first year to get me more work. But never, ever say you can do something unless you're pretty sure you can fucking do it. That's the first rule I learned. Because I actually said I could do something and I wasn't able to do it. And I'm like, fuck. I'm about to get egg on my face on this one.
It's funny when Scott was trying to do freelance, which that was always a struggle, finding clients. Something that we came across was people looking through his portfolio, looking for exactly what they wanted, and they couldn't find it. So he wouldn't get the job. Did you go through that much? Like, oh, I want it. They would show you somebody else's style, but want you to copy it or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you pointed out that I'm versatile. And one of the things that got me a lot of work is that I can imitate other people's styles very easily. Like I went to, because Drew Struzan, you might know him. He did the re-release of the Star Wars trilogy. He did some of the artwork for Indiana Jones, Raiders, all that stuff. He's my mentor. And him and his wife, Dylan, have been friends of mine for almost 30 years. And I went to the Drew Struzan School of doing artwork. Prime example, I'll show you something I did. Here it is. This was his actual Christmas gift, him and Dylan. I painted this for him.
Nice.
And hold on. I grabbed the wrong one.
Okay, I'm like, the one that you already had?
This one. Doctor for the Holidays. And
that's beautiful.
And Drew sent me the most lovely letter, and I've shared it with people to show that this letter did exist, that he said that he considered me one of the true heirs of his style, that I understood what he was doing.
Can you full screen that one?
Let me open an image in new tab, and then I will cut and paste it into this window because it won't let me do it here. But if I open it as a separate image, I can let you look at it better. There
Yeah,
you go.
nice. Yeah, that's really cool.
And you see the pencil work when you look at it. You see where I penciled in stuff. And the rest is just understanding how to paint.
Right now, this is on physical media? This isn't digital?
Yeah, but I don't have it. It's in possession of Drew Struzan. It was their gift.
Yeah, what is that? Is that watercolor?
No, it's acrylic. I only work in acrylic.
Okay.
Oops. I was supposed to X out of that. There we go. X out. A lot of this, though, is digital because I do the exact same thing. I digitally draw it, and then I digitally go in and paint it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same technique. I don't really require having the artwork anymore because I do commissions. I get paid for doing the artwork. This was done on illustration board, too. The original running time artwork I did in 1997 for Bruce Campbell's movie.
Yeah, back when you had to actually put ink on paper.
Yep. This, on the other hand, was fully digitally rendered by me. Still, it's the same techniques, all the same techniques, but I just did it digitally. And I love it because I can get stuff done faster when I work digitally than I do it critically. Now, when I did this painting, this was a vindicated ink piece that will never see the light of day in print. Because right after I painted this to show him walking, after taking his shower, I wanted to show the scars on his body, and I wanted to show just a hint of that prosthetic leg that he has. I do this painting, and the only person that sees it first is my buddy Mac. I've talked about him, my daughter's uncle. He's my best friend here in Springfield area for years. And he looked at it and goes, "Oh, ain't that nice? Your first porn DVD or gay porn DVD cover."
Hey, probably a piece of good advice, actually. I wouldn't have thought that, but
and that's all I can see now. That's all I see when I see it. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can't wait for that tail to fall off.
I'm like, you motherfucker. Now here is the rejected cover I painted for Mike Force. The other cover, I didn't like the other cover that they wanted, and I did. This is the one I wanted to paint for him. So not everything I do gets grabbed. This is a painting I did for another book cover. This is done digital acrylic style with watercolor brushes, so I could create that watercolor look. And that's my daughter. She posed for that.
It's so pretty. I do photography, and my daughter was always my model, and she basically still calls herself my model, even though I don't really do photography so much anymore. That's why we have children, so we don't have to pay the help.
That's right. By the way, here you can see my pen and ink stroke style. I have a very clean illustrator style. I'm not a comic book artist or comic artist. I am an illustrator.
Yeah, you absolutely are. And
here's Mac, by the way, the guy that said my first gay porn DVD cover.
That's him. Okay.
That's him right there. That motherfucker. He's also here. I got to show you this on the about page. Where's the about page? Is it here? Yep, there it is. About. That's Mac. My daughter and me.
I've seen that picture actually.
He is. We always jokingly refer to ourselves as heterosexual life mates because we just love each other so much.
Yeah,
and we love being in each other's company. So that's why he's there. And there, my daughter giving me the side eye. I fucking love her so much. Look at that picture of her.
She's so adorable.
But I love doing this work. My illustration, when you go to comic art and illustration, some of the books I've done. Here's the original cover for Vindicated that I still use. This is the first original cover to Code Word Geronimo. And that's the award-winning book I did. This is for Iron Sky. I have it here because I did the internal artwork, but my buddy Darren Douglas painted this piece. I was the colorist on this. I worked with a buddy of mine, Rodriguez, He did the pen and ink, and I did the colors on this, the airbrushing. And then he worked on this comic book, but he got, I'm not going to say fired. I replaced him because they preferred my ability to capture the likeness of the actors that are in the movie. And so I did all the artwork for the rest of the book. I worked on the A-Team. That's not my artwork, but I did work with Chuck Dixon. It was the first time I worked with Chuck Dixon was on this book. And I did the story about Face. I worked on the Army of Two comics. I was the lead colorist. Again, Darren Douglas artwork. That's my book. I illustrated the entire book, but he did the covers. I would pay him out of my pocket. Now, that's one of my covers I did for Liberator. I did the internal artwork and the covers as well. That's painted.
Damn, Gary, you've been in the industry forever.
I did the Alan Wake video game side graphic novel, sold over 1 million copies. I was the lead artist on that project. This again, Darren Douglas. Darren and I have worked a lot of this stuff, man. I love his covers to my comics. And it comes back to growing up on Gold Key Comics, because I love the fact that they would have a different artist for the covers, painted covers, and then the sequential artist that did the inside. So I did the sequential art, and he would do these beautiful covers for my comics. And we're trying to work together again. That's Mac again, wearing a pro mask, in full battle rattle. And this is a cover I didn't do, but I did the graphic novel. I did the whole book. That is a 126-page long book. It took me 2 years to draw.
Yeah, I would assume you're pretty fast in this day and age. I mean, gosh, just looking at the expanse of your portfolio alone.
I'm faster working digitally. This was one of the first covers I ever did for a magazine back in the 90s. This is one of my political cartoons. I can do caricatures.
Nice, yeah.
Have you read this? You should read that.
I have not.
Read it. It's like the church needs to change. Stop hating gays. Start punishing child molesters. Act more Christ-like. I have heard your cries. I have seen the error in my own ways and the ways of the church, and now I bring you real change, real reform. And then there's one guy in the crowd goes, "Oh, you're only doing that to score political points." I love doing caricatures.
Yeah, that was a good Pope.
There's one. I've done a lot of cartoons, published cartoons. That's Detective Nobody. Here's some political stuff I did during the first Gulf War. I need to open this up in a new tab and then bring it back so you can actually read it. Because I enjoy doing these things for a magazine. Paste and go. Here we go. So you can actually read what's going on here and see. Meanwhile, in the world where Saddam may not be dead, he's getting a menu. And these two guys, two Iraqi generals, are selling lemonade to the soldiers. No chemicals, we promised.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Thirsty again. And of course, that's 3rd Armored Division. The 3rd Armored Division again. And they said, yes, we just figured out what's up Minister Mohammed Saeed al-Shayef's butt. I like doing political cartoons too. I've done a lot of it.
Nice.
I've worked for newspapers. I worked for the Federal Way News right outside of Seattle. But then I love doing comic books. It's just one of those things I'm always going to love doing. Is I love visual storytelling. And here's a couple of pages from the Alan Wake comic book. And some of the artwork I did for them. And this is the thing. I designed the logo for IDW. I did a lot of work for IDW that nobody knew about. That just nobody knew. I did the coloring on this piece. I'm very good at coloring. And I designed the logo for the whole Infestation storyline that impacted Transformers, Star Trek, G.I. Joe, everything that they had the license for. And here's the full wraparound cover I drew for Code Word Geronimo.
Oh, very nice.
And I'm very proud of that book. Very proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely. something that I'd love to see is for your needle to get moved on your campaign during this stream. We've been going for 2 hours now, and I don't think the needle has moved at all.
I think most of these people already know me and have already.
I know. I'm talking to Skunk, who neither of us personally know. Go back, Vindicated Inc. on Fund My Comic. Let's see that needle move. I don't have
You're
any
gonna guilt him into it. You're gonna guilt him into it.
Come on, Skunk. You could do it.
You do it. You can do it.
And I'm just gonna say good night to America Inc. Music. I'm glad you had a good time. Saw that he viewed this conversation as fascinating. That's all, Gary. I'm just listening. I'm a good listener.
Like I said, I'm very good at doing shows and talking.
You are very good at it. Yeah. Let's see. Shinotsky says, "You want my blood, Gary?" You spelled your name wrong. You've already taken so much. I'm gonna cut a vein now, you monster.
Yeah, because that's how my name is spelled on the shows. Because I got sick of people mispronouncing my name.
Oh, it's so funny because I don't know if you remember, I commented on your Facebook when you said you were doing a show with Tom called Tom and Gary. And I'm like, he's going to just be called Jerry from now on. I'm like, why'd they do that?
If you do the intro, if you listen to the intro, Mike, Comic Relief Crusader, says, Tom and Jerry. I mean, Gary.
Are you guys still doing that show? I've never
Yeah, we were supposed to do it this weekend, but he's going to be gone for holiday, doing Christmas stuff with the family. So we're pushing it off to next week. So this week I'm doing Fish Called Wanda with my girlfriend and Keith.
You're doing that live? You're watching that live?
I do everything live. Yeah, I watch
it.
We do a slideshow of the movie and talk over the slideshow.
Okay.
Because I am a true cinephile. That's how Keith and I became friends, because when we met each other and we started talking, we started noticing, wow, you know a lot about film. And he go, wow, you know a lot about movies too. And we would just sit and talk movies and TV shows. And we have this vast encyclopedic knowledge, the both of us. He knows more on the business side of it, whereas I know the trivia and the name of the movies, who was in it, and how they made it. So we share this great passion for cinema and television. And when we do our shows, it's what we do on Saturdays. We talk about a single movie or TV show, and we talk about why it's great. Here's what made this great. This is why this stood out. Why this is on our list of favorite things that we grew up with and love. And because we got kind of tired of all the negativity. Because everybody loves to do videos where they shit on stuff.
Right.
And
that's what sells.
Because we're critical of a lot of the stuff coming out. And I just hit a point, and Keith agreed. I'm tired of this. Because we just keep saying the same thing over and over again. Let's talk about good stuff. What is available that you can go see, including even sometimes some new stuff. There is some new films, like Godzilla, the new one. Oh, I loved it. I love that movie. Godzilla -1. What a movie. Yes, it had problems, but the good in that movie outweighed any of the little dumb shit that was in it.
Nice. Well, I'm glad there's stuff people are still enjoying.
And there is always stuff. If you really look, there's always something you could go out there and see. And as far as comic books go, independent comics are the way to go. And independent comics, the way I'm going with this, I'm not going to go through a mainstream publisher. I've done that too many times, and you lose money on it. You always lose money on it. And so I'm going to go independent with Vindicated Inc. I'm probably going to team up with my buddy Script Doctor, who is the editor on this project. Script Doctor and I have a very good friendship with one another. We like working together. And again, it's all about liking who I work with. I don't want to work with people I don't like anymore. I'm done with that. I'm at an age now where I don't have to do that shit anymore. What did he say? I got fed up with just bitching ages ago. Hence, I'm making my own stuff for you folks. Yeah. and he's working with me on this one, and I'm gonna work with him on his, and this is just the beginning of what I'm doing. I'm gonna go completely independent and start doing these books and setting up crowdfunding campaigns to make these books happen.
Yeah, good. Congratulations on that, and super good luck on this campaign. What did you set this up to run through?
It's got another 50 days.
Okay.
It'll run through January 27th, I think, is when it ends.
And so you need to hit the $9,800 goal for you to keep the funds.
Here is the main goal right here, because I want to be able to pay Richard Bonk to do his 22-page flashback chapter. And his chapter is the one, it's $3,500 for him. And
Okay.
I think I even broke that down below. 3,300. It's 3,300. And the other single most important one is having the money to pay for the printing. Right now, the cheapest one I found is 3,500. But this one, on the other hand, the 3,000, if I don't get paid, I'm still going to make the comic book. But it would be nice to be able to pay my bills.
Right, absolutely.
It takes 14 hours on average to create a comic book page. You do the math, how many hours a week it takes me to finish off 5 to 10 pages of comic art. I've got to draw 50 pages of comic art. It's going to be my full-time job doing this. And if I'm sitting there on fumes, it's going to be pretty difficult to pay my bills. I don't want to get rich off of this. That's enough to pay my bills for 3 months while I finish this book. But if I don't get that, at least Richard gets paid.
Wow, you live cheap.
Yeah, I even said it there. It's like I work cheaper because it's my book.
You live cheap.
Yeah, I have always been very frugal and very good with doing things. I don't buy name brand. I always buy store brand.
Right.
You know, I look for
the best. It usually tastes the same.
And when I pay my rent, I always look for a place that's in a nice area, but the rent's the lowest. And but there you go. And here's some of the pages that are already done. 91 pages are already done for this book.
Nice.
You can go, if you go to the campaign, you actually get to download 2 chapters from the book to read for free.
That's the way to do it. Those lead magnets.
So you can actually download this chapter, which is called God Judges His Heroes by Their Scars, and the other chapter, which is A Leg to Stand On. It's a play on the fact that he's walking and doing all this shit on a prosthetic leg.
Right. Fantastic.
And the first chapter you get to read is, it's not the actual chapter 1 of the book. There's a prologue before it. But I'm not letting anybody see that until the book is done. And but this is the first chapter of the book. God judges his heroes by their scars, and you get to see John lose his leg in combat, and it's in his team is betrayed by a member of the Afghani Special Forces team. But the commander
sounds like a good teaser.
It is. In fact, the trailer itself, I wrote the teaser for the trailer. And Tom said, you really give everything you need to know about this book in the trailer and without giving the story away.
That's fantastic. In fact, because that's not the longest trailer I've seen. And I was talking to somebody else today saying that's the hardest thing with people that are kind of new to creating campaigns is not being able to bring their pitch down to an elevator pitch. And so their explanation goes on and on and on, and you're going to lose people. You know, you got to spice it up and make it go quick.
Yeah. And here you go. This is the elevator pitch for the book.
Yep.
Meet the Seattle vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity, but his identity isn't the only secret he has to keep. After grievous wounds received during combat, Tier 1 operator John Russell begins to recover and come to terms with his new reality of being an amputee. And as he learns how to use his new prosthetic limb, he he finds himself caught up in the bureaucratic red tape that too many wounded veterans experience, the exhausting med board process. Out of sheer frustration, John takes it out on the criminal scum of the city. But when reality kicks in, John realizes he started something that's having an impact on the greater world around him, and thus has to reevaluate his motives. And moreover, how far is he willing to go to weed out crime and corruption? And just how far will he have to go? From the creator of IDW's award-winning graphic novel, Code Word Geronimo, comes a new story about a different kind of warrior, Vindicated Inc., the first of its kind disabled veteran action hero comic. There you go.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. And, you know, I would think that this kind of story would reach beyond the typical graphic novel reader and into, you know, maybe veterans that don't necessarily read material like this, because it's just a good story with fantastic art. That was one reason I did want to be streaming to my foxhole, is we have a decent little following over there. And I get people to hop in when they see that we are live, because they are all true American patriots over there that support the military. And so I really wanted them to see this. So I'm hoping, and I don't know if StreamYard does this, that this stream was recorded so I can at least repost it over there for anybody that wanted to watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
And just let you know, once again, I have two great reviews on the video. It shows it right here, from Mike Barron and from Chuck Dixon, who sing my praises with this book, because they got to read 3 full chapters. That's 68 pages of comic art. And they're like, this is really good. This is not your standard comic book. This is something deeper, grittier, and more real. And he said, the violence in your book is just really heart-stoppingly real. I'm not gratuitous in my violence. I don't show the action over the top. When I show somebody get shot, I usually show them drop right after being shot, because that's what happens when somebody gets hit. And I'm very realistic and down to earth about everything in this book. And I wanted to show what it's like for veterans when they go through some of this shit. That just like my statement at the beginning of the book that says, this is my love song to every warrior. I didn't say veteran, but every warrior who has left a piece of themselves on the battlefield, and for those who brought some of it back with them. And that's what this book's about. Once I want to talk about it, it's an important book. And I will be, once I do decide where I'm going to publish it, I am going to make sure that I'm going to give something to it. Because one of the charity groups I like is ACVAL. They are specifically a PTSD group, but I've worked closely with Wounded Warrior Project in the past, which is why Jeff Searcy writes the afterword on this book. He was one of the former officers at Wounded Warrior Project. And he is the first person I took this story to. And he believes that it is an important book for veterans, about veterans. And I'm hoping people will like it.
Yeah. Is there any opportunity for you to have Wounded Warriors do any promotion for you?
No, I'm probably not going to work with them on this one, because I would rather work with a smaller, lesser known organization to help boost them up.
Right.
And get their name out there. And that's why I looked at ACVAL as one. But ACVAL, it doesn't seem to be pushing anything right now. So I'm probably going to find another group. I'm probably going to go to my buddy Jeff Searcy from Wounded Warrior Project to ask him, what are some other really good groups that I could help promote and give a percentage of ourselves to once we publish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was my question, though, is if you can make a partnership where they would talk about your book or promote your book in some way, not necessarily that you're going to give to them.
Yeah, I would want that too, but that's once we go in the publishing area.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to jump the gun. You want to get funded first,
yeah.
and then go on that kind of campaign.
Do the book, and then start looking at how we're going to publish it. Are we going to self-publish? I'm probably going to partner up with my buddy on his idea, because he's working with our friend Mexican Iron Man, Mike Cano, in setting up his own publishing business, and I may end up working with him. But I've talked with Graham Nolan with his Compass Publishing, because I'm good friends with Chuck and Graham Nolan. Graham Nolan and Chuck were the guys who created Bane for Batman, and they're both really good friends of mine. Because you can't become friends with one of them and not become friends with the other one. That's
Okay.
And I told Graham one time, I said, I knew you and I were pretty chummy when your wife befriended me.
Yeah.
When my friends' spouses start talking to me and following me on Facebook or Twitter, I'm like, okay, we've become friendly.
Right. I like that that touch point. It's like, okay, yes.
Because I'm friends with a lot of wives of the people I work with. In fact, Dale Dye, as much as I know him and he knows me, and we have a great love and affection for one another, I deal mostly with his wife. She's the one who runs the company for him. While he's off gallivanting around the world, making movies and TV shows, she's the one who stays home and runs the business. So I work closely with her. And she's one of my best friends, I start feeling weird if I haven't heard from her, and I'll call her up out of the blue. I said, I hope you're not busy. I just wanted to talk with you. See how you're doing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And they're kind of the grandparents of my daughter.
Oh, that's even nicer.
A blessed life. I mean, I'm sitting here right now. In particular, I'll pull this up right now. So I get this card this last week, and I open it up, and I'm like, who is this from? Without leaving a reply address. And I open the card up. Here's the card. And I open it up, and it's from Sean Young from Blade Runner and all those movies. Wishing me a happy Christmas. I live a very amazing life.
Yeah, and it seems like you have a lot of close friendships and relationships, and that really is what leads to happiness in life, is what kind of connections and friendships that you have throughout your life. So it sounds like you're lined up to be happy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think so. And my girlfriend, we're just having a great relationship. It's the first really good relationship I've ever had. And don't think for a second I don't find it taxing, because relationships in general are exhausting to me, because I just want to sit quietly and do what I'm doing. But she demands time from me, and I kind of like that demand. I like having that demand made of me, because if I'm left to my own devices, I'm sitting right here at my desk, fucking doing artwork. If I have a keyboard near me, I'm composing music. If I have sculpting materials, I'm sculpting something. But I also like building model kits, and I love watching movies and TV shows. And I'm happiest when I'm just left alone to my own devices.
Right.
And it's work to interact with people. This is work, but I like doing this because I feel very productive when I'm sitting here talking with someone like you. I feel like I'm doing something. But she's afraid you're going to steal Dale away from her. No, that's never going to happen. Dale Dye he loves that woman so much, and he, just like me, robbed the cradle. She's a youngin'. She's my age, and and he's in his 70s.
Nice.
And she's gorgeous too. And Julia is a beautiful woman.
Have you been drinking the same beer the entire time?
No,
are you a sipper like that?
This is my third beer.
Okay. Still jealous. Still
Guinness
jealous I
Stout.
don't have beer.
The meal in a can or bottle.
Which, by the way, please tell me that you think IPAs are disgusting.
I don't like overly weedy or barley. What is it? Not barley. Is it barley? Hops. I can't stand too much hops.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of feel the same thing with wheat beer as well. I definitely have to put orange in wheat.
Yeah, weedy and hoppy beers turn me off. I prefer, I do like Fat Tire Ale is pretty good.
Oh, that is good.
But like if I'm gonna drink a beer, I'd rather drink something like Sol or Dos Equis, because man, Mexican beers are really good. Cerveza. I like dark Germanic beers. I like Bass Ale. In fact, one of my favorite drinks is a mixed beer. It's called a Black and Tan.
Black and tan, baby. You float
Bass Ale
it
with
on top.
English Bass Ale with Irish Guinness Stout. And because they have different weights, Guinness is lighter than Bass Ale. So it floats. So when you drink it, once it's set, you got to let it settle. Once it settles and you go to drink it, it narrows down as you're getting in. So you get both Bass Ale and Guinness with every sip.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I can pour a pretty badass Black and Tan. It's fun too.
Yeah.
It's fun,
But
to grab that spoon, pour it over.
I like real Irish whiskey. I drink, I prefer Bushmills. I like Bushmills Black. It is my absolute favorite whiskey. I've drank Jameson. It's okay. I prefer Bushmills Black. It's great. I've had one American bourbon that's okay with me, which is single, what do they call it? Single barrel Jack Daniels is really fucking good.
Okay. Yeah, we're more bourbon drinkers around here than whiskey or scotch.
I don't like bourbon. Bourbon's too sweet for me. Like Southern Comfort is garbage.
Oh no, that's too much. That is, although it does make a good old fashioned. It's good for an old fashioned.
Like, it mixes with sodas really well too, but not my thing. I had a gay boss, Chuck Prather. I love that guy. He was a great guy. Good boss, good manager. But he had a thing for me so bad back in the 80s, man. And he would constantly like buy me booze. And I'd go, fantastic. He says, we should have some. I said, no.
I'm taking this home.
No. He goes, oh, come on, Gary. I went, no.
Now cue that original Vindicated cover, of the gay guy.
Oh, I don't have it now. I already closed it. But yeah, that made me so mad. I got so mad at Mac for saying that. But it's true. I went.
I mean, if I ever come across it again, that's all I'm gonna think.
I was so irritated by that. No, it'll never get printed. It'll never see the light of day. You'll only be able to see it on my website. By the way, that's funny. A friend of mine last week kind of said something to me because I make a lot of gay jokes about myself, that I'm pretty gay. And I told my girlfriend, I said, I'm so gay for you. I'm a power bottom. That means I want you on top. That's what that means. Because, I'm lazy. And so this person, a friend of mine here in town, said something to me about it. Says, you make an awful lot of gay jokes for somebody who's not gay. And I stopped and I looked at them and I went, prove it. And they were like, what? Prove I'm not gay. And I absolutely blew their fucking mind saying that to them. I said, you have no idea where I've experimented or who it's with.
Right.
You got no idea. I may have sucked a dick back in high school. You don't know.
It's
really
liked
it. You don't know.
It's funny because my husband likes making gay jokes to me a lot. And once in a while, I'm like, please just stop. Like, you're kind of creeping me out a little bit.
Well, I have a lot of
you got me questioning.
I have a lot of gay friends, and they've always enjoyed my humor. Like I said to one of my gay friends, I said, you're not really gay until you've done it twice or enjoyed it at least for the first time. And I was like, if you enjoyed it and liked it, you're gay.
That just goes to show you're definitely comfortable in your own masculinity, in your own self. If you
absolutely
be like that, so.
And I like one of the profound things for me is like, one, I do have a lot of gay friends and they know how much I love them. I need them in my life. They give me so much joy in my life. I'm going to tell you, Nobody throws a party like a gay man. Best parties I go to are thrown by my gay friends. I tell you, and I asked my buddy Kerry Mundy. He follows me on Twitter. Kerry and I have been friends since we were young. And when I found out he was gay, Jim Woodward was one who told me. And he got mad at me because when we ran into him at the giant grocery store there in Fredericksburg, Virginia, he introduced me to this guy as his boyfriend. And I went, well, I'm here with my boyfriend, Jim. Because I didn't know he was serious. I had no idea he was really gay. My gaydar was not on at that point.
Uh-huh.
Jim fucking elbowed me when I did that. I was, oh, right in the ribs. I'm like, fuck. What the fuck are you? We get outside and he goes, what is wrong with you? And I went, what do you mean, what is wrong with me? You hit me. And he says, that's his boyfriend. I went, wait, what? He's like, yeah, that's Carrie's actual boyfriend. I went, Carrie's gay? He goes, yes. You didn't know that? And my exact words were, well, he's not the most masculine motherfucker I've ever known, but no, I had no, oh my God, he's gay?
Right.
I was flummoxed by that. And Carrie loved that. And Carrie would throw these parties, and it led to a funny moment at one of his parties. And I asked him at that same party, I said, how is it that gay men do this, throw such great parties? He says, we never invite lesbians because they hate men. And I went, is that true? I think it's a truism. I don't think it's absolute fact because I've had lesbian friends and they're awesomely funny.
Right.
But he never invited, it was always his stag parties is what these were. They were guy parties. But at one of his parties, we did a banana eating contest and like, how much can you bite off in one bite?
Oh, so you had a deep throat?
This is gay. This is really gay. But he discovered that I won the contest because I have no gag reflex at all. I have zero gag reflex. Nothing. So I took a big old honker bite out of that banana, and he went. When I did, and then he leaned in and he goes, are you sure you don't want to be gay? And I went, I'm very positive. Thanks, buddy, though. If I were, you'd be the first.
Yeah. You were very impressive in that moment.
Yeah. And that blows a lot of people's mind, like, holy shit. And that's how I chug beer. I can down a beer really quickly because I can do that whole open in the throat thing and just glug it down in one big gulp. And, but nope. In truth, in all honesty, I've never been gay. I've never been interested in it. But I find it funny to act gay and to, make jokes about being gay. And I tell everybody I'm gay for my girlfriend all the time. I'm so gay for her. I'm gay for movies.
Right.
Because to me, like, gay is just this great word that in many ways it kind of means love.
Right, absolutely. Hey, on that note, I think I'm going to put, if you're okay with it, I am going to put a Flip City stamp on your head and make you read a poem.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to switch this over.
Yes, I'm gay for Godzilla, Shinatsky. It's true.
Yeah. Because
I would like to have him all the way in my mouth or all the way in my ass.
You probably... am I sharing the screen correctly? Let me see.
I can see it, but I can't read the print.
Oh yeah. I was gonna zoom in. So this is a poem. It's been passed around a little bit and been read on other streams. And here's something that you can. I'm going to turn it a little bit into a game. There are words in here that I've heard is bad on YouTube for the algorithm, or it could get flagged or something. So you have a choice to either say the words or come up with your own creative word that still describes that same word. Because I know you're fast on your feet. So this is the boy who
I'm fast with my mouth, not with my feet. I'm old
okay.
now.
Oh, that's gay.
See, there is a little more, just a little bit more, and it'll be big enough for me to read. Do you want me to read the whole thing for you?
Yeah, it's not that much.
There once was a little entitled shit who, when disenfranchised, would throw a big fit. He was born with skin so white and fair that it gave Jimmy privilege beyond compare. Should anyone question his virtue out loud, he'd he'd shout the word racist and silence the crowd. They'd gasp as if suffering terrible trauma. I can't be racist. I voted for Obama. He's got a gluten-free bread when he said it to the baker. He shamed $20 from the candlestick maker. I like that one. A MAGA spoke up and his brain said, attack. You voted for McCain because Obama is black.
I'm going to move it for you.
Everyone tired of Jimmy's new grift. Each time he said racist, they got even more pissed. One night, young Jimmy took a walk down the street when a voice said, look here, boys, we got some fresh meat. Jimmy was surrounded by guys with bald heads, with jackboots and swastikas sewn on their heads. Jimmy cried, racist. They smiled and said, yep. And the racist he'd searched for now made him goose step. Is that it? And the racist he'd searched for now made him goose step. I get it. That's the rhythm. They marched him all night to their swastika flag, and they took all his money and called him an ag. Ag. I don't like that word. It's one of the words I don't like. His bubble had popped, and he needed his mommy, but a surprise was in store for this wannabe commie. I like that a lot. The skinheads attacked me. This isn't my day. The people said, sure thing, whatever you say. No, really, he pleaded, doesn't anyone care? They snubbed him to go get a burger somewhere. Poor Jimmy, demolished, was left all alone. The people were wise now. His colors had shown. Never again would they fall for his crap. And they promised the next time they'd break his kneecaps. Consider it karma for this sad soy-soaked him he. But the moral of this story is don't be a prick like Jimmy.
Yay!
I like that one. Yeah, that's one of those words because I'm ashamed that I used to say it all the time. And it comes out of my mouth when I play video games.
Now, see, that's the thing too, and why it's just censorship drives me nuts. Is it's all in the context.
That's a self thing. It's a self censorship. It's I don't.
Oh no, I'm not talking about you.
Nobody's stopping me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about like the algorithm in general and stuff, and the YouTube rules and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't allow for context. You know, it's just can't say that word.
But I'm going to tell you something. True story. Carrie was there. My gay friend Carrie was there with his boyfriend, who I introduced him to, Bill, who is the administrator at the nursing home, the first nursing home I ever worked at as a nurse. And then a couple of their gay friends were there, and they all knew me from parties and shit like that. And my band was playing at this. It was a private party. My band played, and it was also where my band broke up. It lost its lead singer guitarist because I punched him in the face during the gig because he dropped LSD. And it was a rule we had: no booze, no drugs during a show. And he dropped LSD. And he started playing Crowded House's Don't Dream It's Over in a reggae riff when we were playing it straightforward rock. And it was a train wreck. And I feel bad. He forgave me. We're still friends to this day. He forgave me. But the band broke up over it. But the cops came and shut down the music at the end of the party before we could finish the third set. And I got so angry because I knew what neighbor it was. And I stood up on one of the picnic benches out in the yard. And and this is so funny. And I yelled at the top of my voice, and I'm very fucking loud when I yell. They heard me because I saw them there standing in their kitchen door looking out at us. And I yelled, "Are you happy now, you?" And I said,
sound dropped out.
I said, "Are you happy now, you fucking?" And I'm yelling like this, and then my eyes slowly drifted down, and I saw all my gay friends at that one table leaning back in sheer horror.
Really?
And then I went, oh my God, I said that word. Oh shit. And I'm looking at them, and it's a millisecond. This is happening really quick in my head. And I went, say something. And I went, I meant like the non-gay bag. I'm not getting out of this. Never mind. And I walked away. I'm sorry. I yelled back. I'm so sorry. And I walked away, and they forgave me.
Well,
They couldn't
I
say
can
that at me.
imagine. And this was then back in the day when everybody was calling each other that.
Oh, dude. When we were like, dude was like dude, chick. Like I was a California sounding guy. I'm accent neutral. You can't tell where I'm from. But some people mistaken me from being from California because I throw down a dude really quick. Dude, come on, man. Dude.
Yeah,
Dude. And
dude.
when we'd be doing something like athletic and we'd hit like get football, get up, FAG, we'd yell at each other. Or FAGGOT was another popular one that would yell at each other. And it was in the Army too. We did it too in the Army. You heard it a lot. But I hit a point with all the gay friends I have, and I have a gay son. And I'm very proud of him as a person. My pride in him has nothing to do with his sexuality. I think that's weird. People who say they're proud of their gay children. It's like, why?
Like,
I mean,
for
I'm
that
proud
reason.
that I'm not proud that he knows how to bang another dude. I think that's a weird thing to be proud of. It's not like he's curing cancer, as Norm Macdonald would say. But I'm proud of the fact that he's not afraid of who he is and saying who he is and being who he is. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of anybody that's like that, that stands up for who they are. My son has always been that way. And I can't remember. There was something I told you to make a note about my son. What was that?
It was about I think it was about his husband or going to be husband.
John. Yeah, John Lee. He's just a sweetheart of a guy. And my son, it was the porn is what that was about.
Oh, that's right.
In Virginia, where he lived, in the Fredericksburg to Stafford, Spotsylvania area, you have to be 21 to buy porn. Okay. So he came to me and he goes, "Da." He calls me Da. My son reminded me of Sylvester the cat's son. Father. He's so formal. And I'm like, please stop calling me father. So he started calling me Da. It's the Irish for dad. And he goes, Da, I need to ask a favor of you. And he was like, really, because I was the first person he came out to, because he knew that I would accept him, that I'm just that way. People, I don't care. I just want you to be a good person. Be a good person. That's all I care about. And he comes to me and he says, Dad, I would like to get some porn, but I'm not allowed to buy it, and I can't go to Mom. Would you buy me some porn? And I went, oh God, yes, I will do it for you. I love you, son. I will do it. So he gave me the titles and where to go to get them. So I bought these things for my son, and I bought him a lot of porn to get him through his lonely nights.
Okay.
And this beautiful girl moved into the apartment complex, and my buddy Jeff, who lived in the apartments with me, he was a teacher that lived downstairs. She moved in the apartment right across from me, and she saw that I was a single dad, of the little girl, and she's like, "That is so sweet that you but for some reason, she was standing there talking to me when I'm checking my fucking mail one day. This is the day she decides to come and talk to me. So I'm opening up my mailbox and pulling out all this stuff. And I get this thing from the video dealership I buy those videos for my son for. And it is an absolutely X-rated freaking gay porn magazine is what this is.
Uh-huh. And not in an opaque envelope?
No. And I popped the seal on it to open it up to see what's inside. And she's standing right there with me. And this is some of the gayest stuff I have ever seen in my life. Men, I mean, you don't get more gay than two guys doing it. Okay, two guys fucking. That's gay.
That's pretty gay.
And that's what was in here. guys, mouth, ass, everything. And I'm talking to her, and then I look down and I see this, and then I look back up at her, and she's now looking at what I'm looking at. And I went, in my head, I went, well, I know who I'm not going to get laid by now. She thinks I'm gay. I closed it and I went, well, it's good talking to you. And then I went
no, I swear it's for my son.
And then I went upstairs and I called Ben. And I went, thank you. Yeah, you just cock blocked me from a girl that I just met that was hot, and she was into me.
Right.
Thank you, son. Thank you for being.
But you know what? It does not necessarily mean that would stop her from trying to get with you and make you ungay.
She didn't. She had no interest. She had lost interest very quickly because I had gay porn.
Right. That is not something I'd want to see somebody I was crushing on holding either. I think I wouldn't try to ungay you.
I think if it didn't turn her off to me thinking I was gay, it just turned her off.
Right.
And she was just lost any interest in me. And I was like, fuck. But it's not the most messed up thing that's ever happening with those. I used to buy my own adult entertainment from Adult Video 2000, I think was the name of the store. And they would eventually send you a gift for so many purchases. I was a good customer. And they sent me this big package. And I opened it up, and it is a 10-inch fucking blue see-through jelly dong.
Because?
And I'm looking at this going, why would they send this to me? So I called them. I'm like, what? Well, we don't pick the gifts and blah, blah, blah. We just assume you have a partner. I'm like, no, I buy porn because I don't have a partner and don't want one.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here with this gigantic fucking dick that's just horrifying to look at. And so they said, well, we didn't take the backsies, and I'm like, oh, fuck you guys. So I decided to have some fun with it. And
okay.
I would leave it sitting around just fucked up ways.
Like Elf on the Shelf?
If I was having like friends over, I would put it in the cabinet with the glasses. And they would go in. I said, yeah, go grab a glass and get something to drink. So they go in there and they went, what the fuck? It was just funny to me. And then my dad came for a visit, and I put it on the phone. I took the receiver and hit it, and I put the jelly dong on the phone. And the phone rang while my dad was there. I said, hey, Dad, I'm busy in the kitchen. Would you answer that? And he went, no. It might be important, Dad. No. I'm an asshole, though. I do shit like that. Like my boss, I had a boss.
That sounds fun to me.
I tormented my boss. I was at this place here in town called, not Kaleidoscope. It was Kaleidoscope. And at the front counter, as I was getting ready to buy a T-shirt, I walked up there and he had this little plastic, you've seen these at counters where they have candy or toys in them. And there was this plastic round drum sitting there full of 1-inch. Oh, where'd I go? Oh, there
I'm playing around with the Streamlab while you're telling your story.
Oh. So I'm look at this thing, and it's filled with little 1-inch pencil erasers that you can put on the end of your pencil. And what are they? They are flesh-colored balls and a penis that are about 1 inch long. Very veiny little erasers that you could put on there. And I went, how much for the entire barrel? And they sold it to me for like $30. And I bought this entire barrel of these little 1-inch fucking penises. And I tormented my boss with them. I would drop them in his coffee. I think the funniest thing I ever did is I glued them to every key on his keyboard.
Oh my God! Standing erect?
And then there's this phone that when he went to pick up the phone, when he put the phone up, there was a little fucking penis tickling the edge of his mouth.
Oh my God. I would have loved to work with you. Even if you were doing that to my desk.
I tormented. I was like the king of the castle. I would fuck with everybody, including my bosses. They would never fire me. They thought the shit I did was hilarious. And we had this he's still a friend of mine, Marshall Devaney. And Marshall, I would get into his computer, go across the network into his computer, and it would change all the audio files on his computer for whenever he would do something. And so he would click on something, open something, close it. It would play new audio files that I put on there. Like when he loaded his computer, it was me. I recorded me going, nah, 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 nah. I had a clip from The Simpsons that Harry Shearer is the reporter saying, the following people are gay.
Ah.
And I think the meanest trick I ever played on him was I made his default screen image was your computer has failed. Click yes if you would like us to reformat your hard drive. Click no if you'd like to restart your computer and start the reformatting process. There was no other choice.
Right.
He freaked out. And it wasn't even really a button. It was just something on the background of his screen. And he thought his computer he was trying to get IT to, and IT was in on it. I pranked so many people. And like one of my favorite pranks when I was with IT down in Georgia for iFleet International, I called one of the guys that was in the call center. And IT was with me. There were like 12 guys in my office that were in IT. I said, hey, yeah, David? Yeah, it's Gary. I'm in IT. I'm the graphics guy. And hey, they just told me that they're getting ready to do an across-the-board scan on everybody's hard drives to make sure that you're not browsing the internet on the job, that you can only do it when you're on break. And so we're doing a pre-scan before they do the official scan, just in case to help our friends. And you and I get along really well. And I wanted to get in here and help you. So he goes, oh, okay. I said, now what I want you to do is you're going to follow this. You're going to open up your cache document in text. You'll open it in your text reader. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and do that. So he right clicks, opens it up. I said, there you go. Now see, start reading off some of these titles. We got to start deleting these. And I had gone into his computer and wrote the most fucked up fucking sex websites.
Oh my God.
I like littleboyswithshavedasses.com. I had some fucked up shit in there. None of them were real. And he's looking at these and he's like, the first thing out of his mouth is, I've never been to these websites. I'm not gay. And I said this and it nearly killed everybody in the office with me. They were trying not to laugh. I said, I'm not here to judge you, buddy. I'm here to help you keep from being fired for whatever you've been doing. I didn't do this. I'm not judging you. And that got him. Every time I said I'm not judging him, it would get him more excited and upset. And finally, this builds to the point where he's defending himself. And I said, it's on your computer. Look at the times. Timestamps are on those. Shows that it was during your time running on that computer. He goes, but I'm not gay. I'm not here to judge you. The final time I do it, I go, this is what I said. I said, okay, I'm not here to judge. Wait, huh? What? Nobody's talking. I'm like, now it's already started? Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. You're on your own. Sorry, buddy. I tried to help you. Now hang up.
Oh my God.
He storms into my fucking office. He runs from the call center across the hall, storms in my office, throws open that door, and we're all in there. And we're all laughing our asses off at him. And he goes, fuck you. Oh, fuck you guys. And he knew it was a prank.
Holy shit.
My pranks are elaborate and fucking funny.
That's what I was just going to say. Well, you're obviously a very highly intelligent person that needs to do multiple things at the same time to occupy yourself.
Well, Mac learned, my buddy Mac, I've told you about him. He pranked me a few times. Then it was my turn. He never pranked me again after what I did to him.
Really? What'd you do to him?
He would do these things. And what I did to him was we had moved to the apartment in Springfield right here. First time we moved to Springfield in 2005. And he had this, he would prank me, but thought he could prevent me from pranking him by every night when he'd go to bed, he'd put his 500-pound toolbox in front of the door. And on a carpeted floor, you ain't getting in that door. And so he went out to go shopping one day, and I went and I got a little a small amount of nylon rope, and I looped it through the handle and through the handle, wrapped it once and put it up underneath the toolbox. And I put it under the door and shut the door. And I pulled that toolbox up against the door and then pulled the rope out. And he came home and he tried to go in his room. He couldn't get into his room. And he got so frustrated. And I'm like in my chair in the living room going, everything okay back there? Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And he's trying to figure out he tried to figure a way of getting it off the hinges. He couldn't get into the room. Finally, he's going to leave. I said, anything you need some help with? And he goes, no, I fucking got it. I fucking got it.
Oh my God.
He had to go to maintenance and borrow a ladder. We lived on the 3rd fucking floor.
Oh my God! Wow. Because he didn't want to admit that you got him.
Yeah. And he had to climb in through his window, break into his window to get into his room. And I could hear him finally open the door. He comes out. I said, everything all right, buddy? And he goes, fuck you. And he never pranked me again.
Oh man. Yeah, pretty freaking elaborate. And I see well, let's see here. Looks like you've got Peter going.
Oh, that's Vinkman's girl. Yeah, that's Vinkman's girl. She laughs at all my stuff. She likes my humor.
She's a laugher.
I did this.
You've got a great sense of humor. Who wouldn't like your sense of humor?
My dad didn't. I tormented my dad with my humor for decades. And like the last prank I really played on him, I was afraid I killed him. I was like afraid he was going to have a heart attack. I had spent weeks on this, where he didn't know about my girlfriend, and he knew about my roommate Travis, who was gay, and my gay roommate Travis. And I would just say, Travis and I went to Chicago. No, I actually went with my girlfriend, but I would say, yeah, Travis and I went. I was setting this up weeks in the planning. Finally, the day came. I'm sitting there with my dad, and I had him over for dinner one night. And I said, don't you embarrass me with Travis. Don't you say any homophobic shit, Dad. Don't you do it. And he was like, I won't embarrass you, and I'm like, okay. So finally I go over to talk to my dad, and I said, yeah, we went out to California, went to the vineyards out there in Vacaville, outside of, or not Vacaville. What is it? It's right outside of Vacaville, where all the vineyards are. I forget the name of it now. But we went there, did the train thing. No, I did this with my girlfriend again, but I made it out to be Travis. And finally, at the end of this, I said these words. I said, I don't know, man. My breakup with Deb was so ugly, and I felt like I needed to find myself. And I'm with, Travis. We're doing a stage production. We become such good friends. We move in together, and we spent so much time together that I've rediscovered a side of myself I didn't know existed. And I've never in my life felt more alive when somebody touches me than when Travis touches me and we have sex. And I looked at my dad after I said that, and my dad's face was ashen gray and his lips were cyanotic blue. And I thought, fuck, I'm giving my dad a stroke. And I immediately ended the joke right there. I'm just fucking with you, Dad. I'm not gay.
Jeez.
But I was relentless with fucking with my dad, because he fucked with me in so many ways. And I decided I'm old enough now. I'm going to get you back, and I'm going to fuck with you in a way that you never thought somebody could fuck with you. And so I went to him one time and told him about my mom. I said, yeah, I'm glad we're living in the same town, because I was going to Eastern Illinois University in the same town that he lived in Charleston, Illinois. And I said, I'm so glad we're in the same town now, because if something happens to me or it happens to you, I can give blood, or you can give blood, or a kidney if it comes down to that, And he goes, well, what do you mean? You're AB positive? I went, no, I'm O positive, like you. He goes, no, I'm AB positive. And I went, well, I'm O positive. And I got really this confused look on my face. And he goes, what is it? And I said, well, Mom is A positive. And it's a genetic law that I have to have one or both parents' blood type. So you're wrong. You have to be O positive, because I've seen Mom's blood type. and I don't have her blood type, and I have to have yours. And he goes, I'm AB positive. He starts getting angry at me. And I went, I'm telling you, Dad, you're full of shit. There's no fucking way. Because it's a biological law. And he says, he gets up and he's on his arm crutches and he's walking around the apartment because my dad's disabled. And he starts digging through shit. Finally, he grabs this card, a little business-sized card, and he flips it at me like a shuriken. Hits me in the chest, and I grab it and I look at it, and it says his blood type is AB positive. And I looked at that, and then I slowly looked up at him, and I went, I don't understand. He goes, what do you mean you don't understand? I have to have your blood type, but I'm O positive. Are you sure? And I went, yeah. And I got up and I sat the card down and I said, I got to go. And I left.
Oh my God.
You clearly know I'm insinuating he's not my father.
Yeah, you're cruel.
So
that is a cruel prank.
Wait for it. So I knew it was going to take him probably about 5 days that he would contact Edgar County in Illinois get a copy of my birth records. It would take them approximately another 3 days after he sends a check or money order, whatever he sent. That I was looking at probably about 10 days total. I would have a reprieve before he found out the truth. But I knew what my dad was going to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm at home and the phone rings, and we didn't have caller ID at the time. So I just picked it up. Hello? I hear these exact words, you fucking son of a bitch. Click. I'm like, that was Dad's voice. And I called him up, and I'm like, oh, he knows now. He knows. He picks up the phone. Dad, what's going on? Why are you so upset? Fuck you. Hangs up.
Oh my God.
He just keeps hanging up on me. I kept calling him, Dad, what are you upset about? Finally, he just takes the phone off the hook. He refused to let me in to see him for 3 months.
Oh my God. Wow.
And when I finally showed up, when I finally was let in, he was starting to ease up. He had talked to my girlfriend, and she says, he really misses you. And he goes, tell him to come by and see me tomorrow. So I did. And I came in there, and he's like, you fucking asshole. You fucking asshole. I said, gotcha.
Holy crap. You know, if you had your VHS video recorder, you could have edited that into like a full 30-minute skit.
Well, we were doing
dying.
We were doing jackass stuff back in the 80s. And Matt McGuire from the band Guar, good buddy of mine, we'd fuck around with video. We'd get a camcorder. We'd walk around. He'd pretend to be a news reporter. And I'd be like I was at Burger King, and he came in there. And he's like, excuse me, we've got a report that somebody was abducted by UFOs? Or came in, he says, I understand somebody in this restaurant? It's always Burger King. He go rushing in there as a reporter with a guy with the camera, and he's got a microphone, and saying, somebody saw Elvis? And I'm over in a little area where there's this, what do they call that? It's a wall counters, and you could sit around. It was a walled off area. Now I'm in there, I say, yeah, it was me. I saw the king. He goes back there pretending to interview, and people are like watching, like, what the fuck is going on? Now I was like going, yeah. The UFO one ended with me saying, yeah, and they took me up into that ship, and they did all kinds of avant-garde stuff to me. And by the way, did I mention before I was picked up by aliens, I was a woman? I'm a man now. And then with Elvis, I said, I knew it was the king when he leaned over to me and he said, you want your pickles?
Yeah, you're better than Cranky Acres, yo.
I love doing that shit. And it was real life. We would do that stuff. I remember we did a video recording. We actually had the recording, but it got lost over the years, where we went to Williamsburg. And we're doing a tour documentary of what downtown Williamsburg, Duke of Gloucester Street. And there's this famous target sitting out in the middle of the old Revolutionary War armory there. And it's got 3 legs. And I was talking about how this was called a sniglet. The sniglet is a three-legged animal that lives only in Virginia, this part of Virginia, and it grazes only 1 acre an entire season. It moves very slowly, but if you watch carefully, and there are people, that was the whole thing. We got people looking out there, looking at this thing while I'm doing this whole narration, this bullshit narration about this fake animal. They're all looking at it going, and you can hear people going, "Did you see it move?"
Oh my gosh.
I love pranking people. It was just one of my favorite things to do, but I grew out of it. Although I still fuck around, just minor stuff. I don't do anything like I used to.
Are you telling me you never pranked Zoe?
Oh, I prank Zoe all the time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pranks on her, my girlfriend at the time was in on the prank, and Zoe had her best friend sleeping over, and it was the big moment for 2012 when the apocalypse was supposed to happen. And my girlfriend went in there, woke her up, says, "The world's collapsing. It's really happening." Wakes him up, startle, wake him up. And they come walking out, and I can hear my daughter going, "If the world is ending, why is Dad still playing Call of Duty?" She saw me. I was in the living room playing Call of Duty.
Right. Hey, she's a quick one.
My daughter is so funny. She's got a great sense of humor, and she, she said, "You gave me such a memorable childhood." There's all these. And I would tell her things like this. This is one of the things I would say to her. Something funny would happen, and I would make it even more funny, and then I would look at her and go, "I'm sorry, baby, but you will probably need therapy for this." I'll pay for it.
It's probably why she doesn't need therapy. If she had the fun dad.
She's got such a good sense of humor. She really does. She's very funny. If you ever follow her, you'll see she's always posting stuff on her page. She does a lot of less liberally stupid stuff like bad science. Because I would yell at her politely and nicely. I go, "Baby, what has over 97% impact on climate every day? One thing." And she couldn't figure it out. And I told her, I said, "It's the sun. And if you can't answer that question, you should not post a goddamn thing about climate."
Right.
And she goes, "Okay."
And she stopped.
I shut so many people down wanting to talk climate with me. I'll ask them that question, and they don't know the answer. I'm like, "You don't know shit about climate, so you get to shut the fuck up."
Right. Right. I'm going to have to remember that. That's a good
volcanoes. Go-to. They said volcanoes, and this was the look I gave them.
I need a screen grab that for a meme.
I have one. I can send it to you.
Okay.
Give me the look.
Nice.
And, oh my God, she's, I raised her to be smarter than some of the things she will post. And so she limits it now because she knows I will call her out on that shit.
Right.
I'll leave other people alone. I'm like, you can
shame. You use shame appropriately as a father. You shame her into not being dumb.
She's also a grammar Yahtzee.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. She got that from me. I would tell her whom, not who. And then she would go, "Whom?" And I go, "No, who, not whom." I taught her the rule. I said, if it's he or she, it's who. If it's him or her, it's whom. Very simple rule. Just remember that.
That's funny because thank you for the lesson because I don't think I knew that. Actually, I can guarantee you. I
was a journalist and I learned it because of that.
Okay.
And let me tell you, my editor pulled no punches with they liked my writing, but I write spoken English. I'm now grammatically I'm always correct, but I use commas where most writers wouldn't use them.
Okay.
Because I was taught through acting that in order for a pause, when you're writing dialogue, put a comma in. If you're writing a screenplay, you put beat in parentheses, parenthetical statement, beat, double beat, whatever. But in, creative writing, I was taught that you are to put a comma whenever there's supposed to be a pause in what they're saying.
Okay.
And so that's how I wrote. And I would also speak in certain vernaculars while I was writing that you would only do in conversational English. You wouldn't do that when you're a writer. But they really forgave me for that because the shit I would write would be really funny. And they would just have the editor, owner of the magazine just laughed his ass off. Little Chinese guy, Paul Young. I'm still friends with that guy. It was the Illinois Alternate News magazine. It was the #1 alternate news magazine in Illinois. And they loved, I would write reviews and do interviews with people. I had an actor ask me during an interview, he says, how do you get me to open up about things like that? I mean, I've never talked about my Vietnam War experiences. You just got me opening up about this stuff. And I said, I use the same conversational skill I was taught as a paramedic. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, we have to work with people who are often mentally ill. And you're taught to open up to them in order to get them to open up with you. And I use the same thing with actors. It seems to be the same kind of process.
That's fantastic.
And it made him laugh. He's like, you motherfucker, you're calling actors crazy. You know what? If the horse fits.
Right. That
was
so
Jeremy
awesome.
Roberts, actor Jeremy Roberts from Star Trek, He-Man, not He-Man, Hercules and Xena. He was in a lot of TV and film. He was a good actor, but he had a heart attack and he had to have open heart surgery and he retired from acting. But still friends with him. I love the guy. He was in Star Trek. He got to reprise his role in Voyager that he had played in the film. So, but I've been friends with celebrities for a long time because they like the fact that I don't give two shits that they're celebrities.
Right.
I'm not impressed.
And I mean, I'm sure that's rare to find, Well,
they like that because I don't give a shit and I'll fuck with them. And
right.
I do. I fuck with my actor friends. Like when Kurt Yeager with this book, that's actor Kurt Yeager. Okay. That's right here. That's actor Kurt Yeager's face. He is from Sons of Anarchy. I draw him into the comic book. And Kurt Yeager has been in a lot of movies and TV shows. And he is an amputee. He's on a prosthetic leg. And we worked out a deal. He's my partner for if we ever do a film, he has first rights of refusal to play the character in a film or a TV show.
Jeez.
And but when we first met and had our first conversation, at the time, my character John was a double amputee. He had 2 prosthetic legs. Eventually, I came around and understood I can't do that. It won't work. It won't be believable. But while I'm sitting there talking for the first time, I said, "So you're a method actor?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "So my character has 2 prosthetic legs. How method are you?" He thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's a pretty good joke. Holy moly. Hey, Gary, I am going to have to cut our stream. This has been so fantastic.
Yeah, I was only going to go as long as you kept going.
You kept going. I'm starving, by the way, so I'm going to start getting hangry. I'm going to start getting hangry, and I can't do that live. But you're so fucking fascinating. You're so fun and fascinating. What is that? Taco Bell?
No, Arby's.
Oh, Arby's. Beef and cheddar.
I got the French dip sandwich.
Okay. Well, the only 2 fast food we have up here is McDonald's and Subway, and I hate them both. So it has forced us to cook all the time. Like we probably go out maybe 3 times a year to eat because that's just how we do.
If I eat out, I try to eat healthier, no fried foods.
That's good. Something that made me stop eating fried foods is I was starting to get arthritic in my hands, and I'm like, let's cut out the fried food and see if that, takes care of it. And it absolutely did within like 3 days. And then there'll be times where I'll have like 2 French fries 2 days in a row and it comes back. And I'm like, yep, that's what it is. It's those heavy, hard oils. But damn, fried food's so good.
I just responded to Vinkman's girl. I had a gyro for lunch. I love
from
gyros.
Arby's.
Yeah, I like Arby's. They have really good gyros, the Greek gyros that they serve. Except they put lettuce on. I request never put lettuce on a gyro. That's gross.
Hmm.
Onions and tomatoes and tzatziki. I have trouble pronouncing it. Tzatziki sauce.
You're
It's
right.
really good.
Yeah, if I ever get a gyro, it's always speaking of fried food, falafel. I love falafel.
Falafel. Well, it depends on where people are from. Like when I was in England, downtown London, you had what's referred to as doner kebabs. It's still a gyro. It's the Turkish version of the gyro, and they're called doner kebabs in London.
Oh,
And
okay.
I lived on that in meat pies. I love steak and kidney pie as a kid.
I've never had one.
Oh man, I ate a lot of them. And if there wasn't any food, I would get a Coke and peanuts and put the peanuts in the Coca-Cola. And you drink out of the bottle and you're eating peanuts at the same time. It's amazing.
I have never tried that.
It's something from old school. It's my dad taught me from when he was a kid in the 40s.
Okay.
He's like, we did this all the time. And I'm like, this shit's fucking good. Hell yeah. I'm going to keep doing that. And I still do it. I
Okay.
get Coke Zero and put peanuts in it. It's really good.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to try that out. But yes, let's go ahead and sign off. And thank you to all of Gary's audience that came over. You guys obviously love him.
I hope you guys keep watching this show. I call her Kitty because that's what she's called on Facebook. But her real name is Christy. And she's awesome. I love
Aw.
Flip City. And I'm hoping to work with you guys on something. You know.
You sound too busy and too expensive.
No, I still have other stuff. I have, look, if you would want to do anything that's serious in particular, I have comics that I've worked on that are never been published. And they're sitting there. But I do comics too. I do Detective Nobody is funny. It's meant to be funny.
And you obviously have a fantastic sense of humor. And yes, we will work together. We will absolutely have to work with you. I've so enjoyed getting to know you so much better, because all I've seen is basically what you post on Facebook, and then lurking in your streams once in a while. But you're usually talking about entertainment stuff. And this was so much different than anything I've seen you that I've come across on your own streams. And I super enjoyed it.
I did too. It was fun hanging out with you, Christy.
Yeah, and yes, anybody that wants to come back and check on my streams, the goal is to stream every Thursday night.
Support Flip City. Support them.
Yeah, and we're going to be bringing on all kinds of indie people. I mean, that's what it's all about, is to spread the word and hopefully really get a strong indie movement going, and bring great entertainment back, like mainstream even, you know?
Make porn great again.
Yes, gay porn. All right, thanks, Gary.
You bet.
I'm going to end the stream.
Good night, guys.